Hey, wobble out. Wobble out. Hang on, sorry, we're just getting things set up here. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. I am trying to get this one widget thing to work, but it does not seem to want to. Okay. We'll figure this one out later. I don't want to hold it up any more than I already have. Alright. Well, holy crap! We're about to get started here. Holy crip crap crizzle. Alright. I'm gonna put the channel dashboard away. Keep my channel preview up so that way I can see what you see. Just to make sure it's stable, you know? And then turn this down just a tiny little bit. Well, hello, well, hello and hello everyone. What's the crack? I think is the term in the UK. They ask what the crack is. What's the crackin'? Sorry, I'm just finalizing everything here. Making sure that it's all looking good. Where's my cam? There's my cam. There's my cam. Hey, we did it. Okay, put my camera up here. Shabing-a-bang. What's going on, whoever chatted? What's up, Abdul Latif? Abdul Latif? What's up? How's it going? Where's my OBs? Where's my OBs? Nope. There we go. Yep, that looks good. All right. So let me switch my vertical scene so y'all can actually see me. Well, hello, welcome. What's up, y'all? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the boys. And if you're new here, hello. Hello, welcome, welcome. Hi, watch me float around my screen. Hello, welcome. So if you don't know me, I'm Goose. What's up? What's going on? Who are you? How are you? Hello and welcome and hi. And I do videos. And the videos that I do range from political to religious, but today we're talking about the media. Today we're talking about, well, we're going to start talking about the boys, and we may close talking about some of the disclosure stuff, some of the stuff that people have been talking about in the old government. And we're mostly just going to have fun. We're just going to be chilling. We're going to be, you know, really just hanging out, honestly. Just doing like a real chill thing, you know? But what I would like to know is, which of you did you like the Boys series finale? I'll even put that as a poll up here. Thank you, Brock. I appreciate it. It's a company known as Blue Ice or Blue something. Blue Ice, I think. But they do a lot of like comic book style designs on their shirts and stuff. See more of it. It's like a dude. It's like a dude all fudged up. He's all like messed up with wires and shit. It's pretty cool. Great shirts for stoners. If you're a stoner, then you probably would love this company. Okay, you picked a good shirt. Thank you. Appreciate it. Did you enjoy the Boys, hang on, Boys series? No, not Siri, cancel. I had to, I gotta make this official, you know, if I'm gonna be discussing my thoughts, then I need to be asking your thoughts. So we're gonna start a poll. Tell me what you think. It's in the vertical, it's not in the horizontal. Because nobody ever looks at the horizontal. There you go. And then let me go ahead and change my camera to make it more appropriate here. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Hey, welcome to my den. Welcome to my lair. Welcome to my bat cave. Welcome to the studio, the back lot. Welcome to the BTS behind the scenes footage. Welcome to the what else can I say? The office? Sure. Welcome to my office. You know, welcome to the place where I do the thing. You know? And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing the damn thing, which is talking about the series finale of The Boys. First, I want to know, did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Did you think that it was good? Did you think that it was a good episode? Was it a good series? Were there things that you thought perhaps they could have improved upon? I would love to hear your thoughts. Please talk to me in the chat. I want to get a real good dialogue going. I want to get a real good discussion going, you know? I see anime girls in the background. There are no anime girls. Those things? Or those things? Those aren't anime girls. Those are dolls. Those are creepy dolls. I don't have much stuff that is... Actually, I have nothing that is anime adjacent, so... Not a big anime fan. Never was super into the L animes. Not to say that they're not good. I know that there are several animes that are pretty gosh darn good, but I never got into them. You know? Sometimes you don't really get to appreciate a lot of the stuff that you think you're going to get made fun of for when you're a teenager. And that's when I even started to really learn what anime was. And so I kind of figured that being into it would make me like a pariah among my friends. So I just didn't really... I don't know. I guess I shied away from it, maybe when I shouldn't have. But I don't know. I feel like I was protecting myself, you know, from ridicule. So what I'd like to do is... I'd like to take a look at a review, first of all, because the news outlets are saying a hell of a lot different than what I'm saying, and it's not because, like, you know, I think that my opinion's more important or anything like that, but I'm just surprised. I feel like, are they watching the same thing that we are? You know, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. Like, I don't know. Girl figures. What your favorite movie or favorite pizza? My favorite pizza is like fucking, I don't know, pepperoni pizza. I like the little cuppies. I like the little cup pepperonis. You know how like they'll sometimes they'll do like what do you call it? They'll do like the little cup pepperonis that trap the grease inside. Now those are pretty darn good. All right, I will not argue with those. Where's my glasses cloth? Oh, here we go. All right, just got to clean off my glasses, and then we can go ahead and talk about the boys. I'm happy to hear your opinions. I would love to get the discussion started by at least hearing what you guys are thinking. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Boys series finale review. All right, so two outlets that I recognize. We've got Games Radar, which gives it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Now I gotta wonder, is there a potential here for like that the reviewers are just kind of like, are they biased, or is this a position that they're being asked to take, or are they being paid to take it? I don't know. I just feel like the episode wasn't all that good. And I don't think that it really helped to, like, culminate a series. Like, I don't think it helped to, like, you know, cap things off, or, you know, really much of anything like that. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it was a bit of a miscarriage, a bit of an anticlimax, a bit of they could have done better, you know. And it's not often that a television series, it's not often that a television series. I'm just trying to find a good place for my cam. How do you change your font, Brock? That is a good question. I would also love to know that. I've never done it before. Kika Keyboard? Is that an app? But what I'm seeing in this interview, in this summary of the review, the relevant point of data is that The Boys ended not with a whimper, but not with a particularly big bang either, while the series finale resolves the story of Huey, Butcher, and Homelander in a satisfying enough fashion. No, it doesn't. No, it certainly does not, good sir. No, thank you. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. That's a free app. Okay, cool. Well, good to know. Man. So, where do I begin? Fuck, like, it feels like it was a bit of a fever dream. It feels like it was one of those sort of things that's going to be like the resolution at the end of the episode's going to end up being like, oh, this was all a dream sequence and the boys weren't even real. Huey got into a car accident when, like, Robin died, and then all of a sudden there's like this fantasy world that he's created in the coma for himself. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't feel like anything. It doesn't feel like a thing that is like putting a bow on anything, really. God, I really need people to stop texting, or I need notifications to stop happening on my phone. That's what I really need. Shows like Dexter and Stranger Things also suffer the same issue that The Boys have now. It seems like finale always has to suck for some reason. Well, it's because, and there are quite a few factors that I could name that would be a guilty party in the miscarriage that was the series finale. But I think what's really important is to look at the biggest scene in the entire show, or in the entire thing, in the entire like episode, and then kind of like try to extrapolate why they did it, who they were doing it for, and what the message was supposed to be. Because it's very clear, and I think if we cast our minds back, what's your highest number of viewers watching? I think I had maybe 12 at one time before. That was pretty cool. Never got up there before, and have not gotten there since. But maybe one day. Viewership seems to be creeping up ever so slowly, which is cool. I'm into that. I hope it keeps going. But so, if you're not familiar with the scene that I'm talking about, it's the White House scene, the Oval Office, the big punch-up battle, And I think what's pretty obvious is Kripke's comments in the beginning of the season, where he was saying that this season's going to have a lot more tie-ins to real life. There's going to be like equal measure of both The Boys and also kind of like references to the Trump administration. And clearly, Homelander is an analog for Trump in this particular sense, like a megalomaniac, narcissist, psychopath, all that kind of stuff. Every label that someone would attribute to Trump, I think, especially a guy like Eric Kripke's very outspoken critic of Trump for the duration of his time in the administration. I think that the Oval Office fight scene was probably the most telling scene of the entire episode that kind of gave us an inclination as to what the real purpose of this season, let alone the episode, was, like what the team was trying to communicate to people. And I guess if I had to distill it down to a single sentence, it would be that fascism is not okay. And it seems like there was an initial idea. I feel like this was written since the very beginning. I don't think that they've really been brainstorming the final scenes. I don't think that I think that they had this written a long time ago. I think that Eric Kripke's comments about the Trump stuff, that was really mostly going to be here, because they also had a moment where it was like sort of the Renee Good, Alex Preddy thing with the Deep, when the ocean creatures were saying the octopus, like, say her name, that the octopus that he killed. And so like it's always been pretty clear that was sort of the message, that Eric Kripke's anti-Trump, and that the Boys is an analog, at least from season 3. And the Boys is an analog to these real-world issues, which I have no problem with. I like, whatever. I'm as lefty as the rest of them, like as against megalomaniacal, wow, that's a mouthful. Megalomaniacal leaders, fascist leaders, things like that. I'm totally on board. And I think that it's like okay to no, Prime Rib, those are not retro games, they are all VHS tapes. The majority of which are horror, but a smaller minority of them are like schlocky action from the 80s. What we like to refer to as money laundering drug ventures. But no, they're not retro games. That'd be cool. I would totally have a room full of like NES games and Genesis games and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. But so the message for, I think, the whole like rest of the series post season 3 was Donald Trump bad. And I mean, that's nuanced in a bunch of different ways. They're decent at writing. Like the writing in the last season hasn't been that good, but it's okay, and it's serviceable. It's fine. It's marketable. You can sell it to people. It's totally fine. But if we get too deep into the message that we're trying to tell, or the message that we're trying to send forward with whatever agenda it is that we support, the storytelling is going to get lost. And I think the people that this show was really trying to appeal to more in the last couple of seasons was the people who are going to watch it regardless of whether or not they've read the comic book, because it deviated so far from the comics, like way early on, even from the first episode. Like, Maeve isn't like she is, the Deep isn't like he is, Black Noir isn't like he is, like, in the comics. Like, all of that stuff is different. And, like, people don't have to have read the comics in order to watch the show. And, like, I think the political messaging is sort of indicative of the type of audience that they're trying to appeal to. Which means that us comic book fans, we're not going to get the full shtick here. We're not going to get the full breakdown. We're not going to get Homelander having a clone. We're not going to get any of that stuff. It's just going to be story beats that we recognize from the comics. Did they get political in the last season? The entire show has been political. Not sure. Even the first season had like stuff about what was going on at the time politically. It's always been. I mean, Kripke himself has always kind of been a little bit of a, oh, I'm a rebel. I poke fun at the establishment, even though he's making millions and millions of dollars doing it. But he's like, oh, I'm a rebel. I'm a progressive. I'm inclusive. I give equity. And fair enough, the jobs that his productions create do indeed serve, marginalized peoples as well as they serve white people. But like, I think that well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I think that the messaging has caused the storytelling to suffer just a little bit. And I think that's just me being kind. Like, I think if I was to be a Bigger Boys fan, if I was a Garth Ennis fan, if I was a fan of like the people, what's up, Raw One? How's it going? If I was a fan of the people who are like, really championing how bad this episode was, then I think I'd be more angry. I think I'd feel more betrayed. And there were definitely story beats that didn't make sense. Like, obviously spoilers for the episode if you haven't seen it, but the way that Terror dies is completely unnecessary. It feels like it was thrown in there just to provide comic book accuracy. Like, I don't understand what the problem is with just telling a good story. Like, just have the good story beats, You don't have to have like these added moments for drama that cause Butcher to just go off the deep end and decide to kill everybody. Like, what's the point of that? Today I got recommended like 4 other gooses after searching Call Me Goose on YouTube. Fuck, man. How do I mean, my username's not really that unique. It's always been some form of the word goose or wolf. I could make it Goose Wolf, but like, I don't know. It's hard for me to. I don't know. Goose is just, it's simple. It's easy. Are you with me, Goose? That's not even where the inspiration was. Do you guys know the show Frasier from like way back in the day? That's where it came from. But so if we're to let's just break it down. Let's just break down the episode. Let me see if I remember all the bullet points here. God, like I said, it just kind of all felt like a fever dream. So Homelander kills the richest man in the world by taking him into outer space. Ashley just kind of like stagnating, feeling like she's not really going to do anything. The Deep really wants to have a role in this new like government or whatever. From the very beginning of the episode, it seemed like we were saying, what if Trump just like stopped listening to his advisors or any lawmakers or anything like that? What if he was just allowed to do whatever he wants? Which is what Kripke probably believes, that a guy like Trump is just given free rein to just break whatever laws and do whatever he wants. Clearly, it's a comment on the current administration. Again, totally fine. But hang on. But the idea of having I actually want to see if maybe they I want to see if they kind of break it down. I could probably find bullet points. U.S. presidents could always do what they wanted. Well, yeah. But I think, it's the whole democracy's out of control and everything, and Trump's running amok and that kind of stuff. Like, that's what the message really just kind of seemed to be. Trying to look up a summary of the story beats just to make sure that I'm accurate in my breakdown of it. Oh, Father, I feel like he was introduced way too late in the series for anyone to really get to know him. Whether he was a good character or a bad character kind of remains to be seen, because who the fuck is this guy? Like, I think maybe Ezekiel was meant to be sort of the Oh Father role at some point. I think I remember reading that, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's like, I feel like it was really heavy-handed and ham-fisted and just kind of wasn't like, didn't feel like a good story beat. It just kind of felt like, what are we doing here with Oh Father, you know? And then he had like the propaganda stuff. Let's see. Interesting, this idea about them being constrained by checks and balances, but that never happened. Maybe Watergate. What's your favorite game? Video game? Gosh, right now I'm playing Diablo. That is for sure. But, come on! Seriously? What are you doing? That was my dog. Like, she was like chewing on a cord. Not chewing on a cord, but she was like walking in and out of a cord, and it knocked my speaker down. Not like it's the most expensive speaker in the world, but I'm afraid she's gonna hurt herself. I hope it didn't, like, fall on her. Chi-Chi. Well, I hope it didn't hurt her. I hope she's okay. But yeah, I'm playing Diablo 4 right now. It's a pretty good one. Oh my god. Sorry, I had a package. I don't have a favorite game. I don't really have any kind of favorites when it comes to like games or media. I just go back and forth between different things. But right now I'm playing Diablo 4. Jesus. Dude, like, I need people to stop texting me right now. It's very obnoxious. It's like, I don't know if any of you are regular viewers. Raw One, I think, is, but, or not, I think Raw One is, but I've got pretty bad ADHD, and it is extremely difficult to get back into my train of thought once I've gotten distracted. So, and it just, any notification on my phone, it just ruins the flow, you know, in my brain. Let's see. Homelander, depowered by Kimiko. Yep, we know that. And Eric Kripke obviously sees Homelander as like a Trump-type figure, but also a little bitch, you know. And I mean, clearly, as Homelander's decline over the last couple of seasons has been very much like a Trumpian type decline. It's been very like, this is exactly what Donald Trump is doing in real life. It's just, you know, caricaturized into this show about superheroes. And I think that's the biggest difference, honestly. And oh, the thing I was talking about, Butcher, Terror dying. Like, there just doesn't really seem to be any reason to add the death of Terror, because in the comics, Terror is killed by Homelander. No, is he killed by Homelander? The original plan was that he was going to get killed by Homelander, and that was what was going to set Butcher off. Like, but that was supposed to be like last episode, or it was supposed to be like the beginning of this episode, or something like that. It feels like it was set up for something else, and then like they just dropped this thread. Like, I don't know what the point was, and perhaps I'm still feeling the trauma over my own dog passing, but like, it felt unnecessary. It felt like a moment to specifically draw out the tears of people. It didn't feel like an actual story element. It felt like, well, we needed a motivation for Butcher to go off the deep end so Huey would have an excuse to kill him. Like, what was the point? Like, I just don't feel like there was any point to that. Why do you think most American content vanished off the internet? For non-Americans, I guess. It's been replaced with Chinese and Indian stuff. Well, I don't know. I'm in America, so I don't know. I don't feel that particular thing. I haven't felt that. I see mostly content like on... Are you talking about like a TikTok or like on YouTube or what? Which platform? Which platform seems to be the culprit? Let's see, taking in Ryan was weird. Ryan's like, I think an adult. I think he can kind of like go and do his own thing. And then Huey being presented with the opportunity to get a job, basically doing what Butcher was doing, and then turning it down to work in an audiovisual store seems really out of character for his, like, the journey that he took, his growth along the entire series. It seems like he would have been the one to take over Butcher's position because he felt like what they were doing was important enough. And it's not like Homelander being gone means that there's no more superheroes. There's still bad soups. Like, there's still a whole gaggle of psychics that they didn't they didn't close the story on. Like, what are they? The psychics that are all criminals? That are just out there now? What happened to them? Did they all get arrested? I mean, somebody's gonna need to handle that. And for, like, I get it, is like, he's married now, he's totally got his life back together, like, he wants to just live his life and do that thing, and that's fine, more power to him. But Ryan certainly would be an asset. Oh, sending away the fucking Gen V kids, like, right in the first 5 minutes was irritating to me. There were several times in the episode where I was just like, why are you doing this? What is the point behind this? You have a whole cast of people who actually had time in their schedule to go and film this scene. They could have been the ones who maybe, like, they become this evil superhero hunting team, and they're the ones who Bobby Singer's like, yeah, you guys should come and work. Hey, we'll have Huey. He'll come and he'll do this stuff. And then the Gen V boys, hey, why not just call it Gen V Boys? Have a follow-up series, have more seasons, just have them doing all the rounding up of the bad superheroes, and there you go. There you go. Then that's a great, like, not a cliffhanger, but like, kind of, we know that the future is in good hands. That kind of thing. Real resolution. Or better yet, why have the moment where Huey has to kill Butcher just because? Just because comic accuracy? That's like, okay, well, we're not going to make anything else comic accurate, and then we're just going to hand the fans this one little breadcrumb that was completely unnecessary from the very beginning because of an event that was completely unnecessary, and we just decided to write that in because it's what happens in the comics, so might as well. Butcher, his mission is done. He's got nothing left but to go and enjoy the rest of his life. Oh, wait, no. The one thing that was remaining from his previous life that he was holding on to for dear life, saying life too many times, and he, like, loses that. And so now, his mission's, like, he killed the bad guy. And so now, oh wait, all soup's gotta die. What? What's the reason for that? It felt unnecessary. It felt completely unnecessary. And, like, I love The Boys. I've liked it. I've even liked the episodes that people called filler. And that people, like, all the way up to the last episode were like, oh man, this is just filler. They really need to get the storyline in order, They need to be able to finish out these things. And I'm like, I understand. I get it, Like, I'll take a step back and I'll, like, at least appreciate what I'm seeing, because I'm seeing, stuff that I loved as a kid on the screen. I'm just happy to see that. But just like Marvel, I'm starting to get fatigued just a little bit, and it's because we're trying to put too much profound shit into one thing. We're trying to take something that, yes, has real world parallels and that you can communicate a lot of like real world issues through, and like try and raise awareness and try and get a coalition together. But A, the people that dislike that message aren't gonna fucking watch in the first place. B, the people that like the message are going to get tired of it if it's repeatedly shoved in their face over and over again, which is why the people on the fence who were on the center before Trump got elected again voted for him, because they got really sick and fucking tired of the culture wars because it's always being shoved in your face. So like, I get it. I understand that there's a message that people want to push forward, but storytelling should come first. What is a good story in terms of this? If I was to summarize it in like a single sentence, like how would I tell the story of this episode? Like, well, Terror dies for no reason, just kind of out of the blue, of old age, I'm guessing, but like still just dies. Like, when a pup passes, and anyone who's had animals who have passed before, it knows that when a pup passes, like there's signs. It's like even when they're getting old, if they have a heart attack, like they have heart issues or something like that, there's existing things that happen. We didn't know that Terror was on his last legs, except for the fact that he's old. Ain't nobody seen that show, Goose. Are you talking about The Boys? I mean, you may not have, but it's the #1 show, according to Amazon, in Google, right? Or on TV right now. But like, Homelander's choking out Soldier Boy, and Soldier Boy just kind of getting completely, we call that fridged, right? When you just are put away for something. Like, he was very literally fridged. He was shoved into a cold storage. And like, he's gonna come back during Vought Rising, in modern times, post-Homelander, I guess. Like, there was really no reason to have him there, other than to be a plot device for the beginning of the season. Like, why did he show up in the first place? Because Jensen Ackles. That's it. And like, from the series finale, I can now look back and say, like, yes, I guess those really were filler episodes. Like, it's ruined my entire impression of the rest of the season. Man. And like, Ashley, who I've been rooting for since the very beginning. Not rooting for like because I think she's a good person, but rooting for because she somehow manages to stay a rat, just like creeping under the floorboards, surviving, like just in the wake of like very close deaths to her, even becoming president. I mean, that's some, like, it takes fucking, I don't know, tenacity, I guess. It takes maybe some healthy amount of willful ignorance. But, I mean, the fact that she saved them, I guess, kind of, like, shows that there's some redemptive qualities to her. But, like, you gotta follow through on that. Like, I get the self-preservation angle. Yeah, absolutely. You don't necessarily want, you know, Homelander coming after you. But, like, if you're gonna say fuck it and be altruistic, you know? Help, like, I don't know. The only good thing in Amazon TV stuff is Jeremy Clarkson's farm. I have to disagree with you there. I think there are other things that are pretty good on Amazon TV that aren't necessarily Jeremy Clarkson related. You know, I don't know. I don't watch streaming TV very often. Typically, I am either playing video games or doing business stuff, working. Sadly. You know? Work has to happen in order for the good times to happen, you know? Everybody knows that. I don't know why I'm saying that like it's a nugget of wisdom. That's not wisdom. You know, having Ryan show up. See, and maybe I'll organize these thoughts into like an actual like proper video here pretty soon, but like even just recalling moments haphazardly like this is exactly how I felt watching the show. introducing Ryan again this season really just felt like they wanted to, again, like give him some amount of resolution, even if it wasn't actual resolution. He just kind of like shows up and then helps them and then fucks off. I mean, I feel like, you know, Butcher and Kimiko could have been enough to just like go and restrain Homelander, and especially the way that like the way they filmed that scene, he didn't appear to have any of the powers that he's already established that he's had in the rest of the series. Like, he just, I guess, is so unhinged and broken that he forgets that he's basically Superman. So yeah, I don't know. I think, and like Butcher's tentacles, they're supposed to be strong enough to like tear apart soups. So they could at the very least restrain Homelander. Like, poke him through the shoulder. I don't know. Like, there's a million things that just, they don't seem to have made sense. I don't have one, Brock. I used to develop stuff, and now I just clean the house and fix stuff. Hey, I clean my house too a lot. It's not exclusively what I do, but I clean my house a lot. Gosh darn it. My house is, like, very clean. It's not really that clean. It's not clean right now. It should be, but it's not. I have a list. I have a list of stuff. And then, goddamn, like, Sister Sage just, like, getting let off, like, just without any consequences for having, like, one of the most psychopathic takes about humanity and, like, how she wanted to live out the apocalypse is fucking insane from a storyteller point of view. I mean, not every bad guy gets punished, right, but they should have. Just her helping with Kimiko getting, like, the Soldier Boy beam does not mean shit. Like, she still committed all of those crimes. Like, I mean, she should still be held accountable. So should all the other bad soups. It kind of feels like they left a pretty big thread hanging. And, like, I maybe this is, like, the production's angling to get another season or something, but it feels incomplete. It feels like there's all kinds of shit that could potentially come out of this, a vacuum of leadership. You know, Bobby Singer being the interim president doesn't mean shit. You know, like, there could be an election, there could be hidden soups, maybe some soups who were lesser known or who managed to keep their identity secret could be trying to hide among us. That could be a good story beat, and it would dovetail with a lot of more relevant media that's happening right now. Like, I don't know, fucking Invincible? Like, another show that's on the same goddamn network? Perhaps they could, like, have some sort of like a you know, oh shit, like fucking super powered humans are not humans, super powered individuals are infiltrating mankind. They've done it on Invincible. They've done it on The Boys. You know, great marketing campaign, sounds like. But all these people with more money than fucking God just don't seem to know the material that they're funding and then want to say in it. And so this this brings me to my sort of number one gripe with the entertainment industry in general, which this isn't going to be a hot take. This is going to be a pretty normal, I think most people would agree with me when I say that we need to stop fucking paying so much fucking goddamn money for these productions and then getting complaints about the budget when the show fucking sucks. And I hate to use harsh language when it comes to something like that, but this is a very, very obvious problem. The causes are fucking right there in front of our faces. And because everybody wants to be rich, nobody's saying what the real fucking problem is. And it's that we pay actors too much. We pay writers, maybe not writers. We pay producers too much. We pay, well, luckily you're not paying for them. And if I was, I really would love to have a say. I can heavily admit that I would absolutely want to have a say. It's not your money, what do you care? It's services that we pay for, and it's an industry that we fund. I mean, technically it is our money, we're the consumers. So, I care because it's a thing that I enjoy, and because you're allowed to express your opinion on the internet. Why do you care about my opinion? You've been, you know, I don't know, seemingly on the same page for a while now. You've been coming back, so clearly there's some stuff I say that you agree with. This just doesn't happen to be one of them, which is okay. We don't have to agree on what's important in terms of media, but critique is, to my opinion, pretty gosh darn important. Especially if you are a person who has any experience with any amount of production or anything in the entertainment industry or anything like that. And I do have just a little bit of experience. So, there you go. It's a good stream if we agree or not. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to welcome diverse opinions, even if they're opinions that don't agree with mine. I more or less just want discussion. I just want people to feel free to express their opinions, and I want people to feel free to push back on me if they don't agree with me. And even a little bit of trolling, We do a little bit of trolling here. I don't, but I welcome it, I find trolls pretty funny sometimes. As long as people aren't being, like, overtly, Nazis or racist or, like, bigoted here or anything like that. It's, whatever's clever, my son. Problem is nobody's seen that show. The Boys? I mean, that's a good troll if you keep with it, if you stick with it. Like, if you do not let me go 1 minute believing that you actually believe that anybody's seen that show, then that's a good troll, my friend. That's a good troll. Come to Lombardo's Pizza in Portland and taste goose pie. Lombardo's is obviously in the town I live, which is Portland. But, like, it's really expensive. Really expensive. I would not recommend that anybody go to Lombardo's Pizza. That is my staunch recommendation. But there are, however, several sandwich places that I would recommend in town. Several. Baker's Mark. That's a good sandwich place. Fuck yeah. But so we're paying actors too much. And I think that became clear when Robert Downey Jr.'s $82 million salary was revealed when he was coming back as Dr. Doom. And I think that people are understandably concerned that the cost of actors might, unfortunately, lower quality for the rest of production. It's almost like that's actually a direct cause of lower production quality. I even asked my partner who runs streaming media 24/7, never heard of it. I don't believe you. Hot or cold sandwiches? I mean, hot sandwiches tend to have more variety to them. Like, you can get more differing types of cuisines into 2 pieces of bun if you make it hot. Basically, I hate Tom Colicchio, but I like Tom Colicchio's opinion about sandwiches. It is basically that you should be able to take any meal. You should, in a perfect world, be able to take any meal and put it between 2 slices of bread. Sure, it may take some imagination, it may take some doing, but you should be able to do that if you're a good sandwich maker. So I think hot sandwiches afford more options for variety for ingredients. So I'd have to take hot sandwiches. And I would mostly recommend hot sandwiches. Burgers or hot dogs burgers? I mean, I could wolf down some hot dogs. I could wolf down maybe a plate of like 12? I think I could do 12 hot dogs. I think I could do a full dozen. Not a baker's dozen. I'm not a baker. I think I could do a full dozen of hot dogs if I wanted to. In one sitting. Oh, no, maybe, yeah, no, I think I could do 12. I think if I was just really, really, really trying my best, I think I could do 12. I would want to die. But I think I could do 12. Best sandwich is probably Old Club sandwich with some fries. Old Club sandwich? But why? What's the difference from a hot sandwich and a hoagie? What you call it? I don't really know what the criteria is to be considered a hoagie, but I think it's mostly just in the terminology that you use to describe it. But yeah, back to my point. I think what's really important is to take a look at the cost of everything. And God, it's so boring, like saying like, well, it's because of money, but It honestly is. We pay actors like millions and millions of dollars for their roles in different things, and the prices just keep creeping up and up and up. And, you know, I mean, we can thank agents and managers for being the champions of this kind of thing, but it's also because people don't necessarily push back because everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to be rich. Even if they say they don't, like, wanting to be comfortable and wanting to be able to maintain your standard of living can be being rich to some people. Like, there are farmers who make, I don't know, over $1 million. I think the average farmer's salary is something like over $1 million, right? Let me double check on that. Yeah, the top 10% of farms. So the average, it's like 30,000, but that's like per person. And so if you have like free labor, essentially, like your kids, and you have zero overhead because you're buying and repairing all your own equipment, I don't know. I could be rich, but I don't have the social status. It's not really, you know, necessarily social status. Not necessarily who you know. It's about how much you can borrow. If you can borrow enough, if you can borrow like. In America, if you could borrow at least $500,000, then you can just be rich with wise investments. And I'm not a politician. Yeah, that is also a quick way to get rich. I don't know that I'd recommend it because you kind of have to sacrifice all of your morals. But you certainly get to use a lot of platitudes, and you get to stand on a lot of ceremony to pretend like you're being a good person. But for the most part, people don't get rich without taking advantage of someone along the way. And that's, I feel very safe and comfortable saying that as a blanket term for all rich people. You do not get rich other than by taking advantage of somebody. What's your favorite ice cream? I don't think I have one. I think whatever's cheap. I love ice cream. Since I stopped drinking so much, I used to drink a lot. My face tells the story of a decades-long drinker. But I recently, and by recently I mean like as of a couple of years ago, I recently stopped drinking a lot, meaning like I'll have maybe 2 beers every now and again, just kind of just for hanging out, you know. But I have developed the amount of self-control it takes to not go overboard and binge. Over here, only people connected to the state or working for the state get rich. We don't have any billionaires or millionaires. Which country do you live in again? Looks about 22. God damn, I will take that as a compliment. Hell yeah. If you want to be rich, you have to get your mother in politics. Okay. I mean, is your mother around? You could probably get her into politics and then go into it yourself. You never know. You know? I don't think too much stuff is stopping you. Just go be rich. Go be rich. Go do the rich thing. But paying that... Hey, Cynical, what's up? But paying that amount of money for an actor to act in your thing does take away from visual effects. It takes away from finding the good writers. And also, this whole legacy thing we have with, like, trying to prop up, like, Kripke, even though it's an entire team. Paul Srichia is the one who is behind most of the production stuff when it comes to Kripke programs, but you would only ever know the name Eric Kripke. You know, like it's the name recognition and the brand recognition that drives a lot of commerce forward, especially that in entertainment industry, where your name is really what you have to sell yourself. And so if you are Carl Urban, then you can ask for $60 million to play a role because you've got this catalog of work behind you of ever increasing wages for movies. It's never going to go down. It's like the real estate market, you know, like it'll take a huge crash for anything to happen. And even then, most people are going to have their assets protected. So the people who had the money to begin with aren't going to lose it. It's going to be the small people who didn't have the money to begin with who are going to have to spend all that money to save their businesses. That's why it's always a rich versus poor game. And so if you're an actor, if you're a production studio that is totally on board with paying millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars for their talent and not paying tens of millions of dollars for their special effects, for their practical effects, for their set dressing, all that stuff, it's going to look lower quality because the only thing you have is actors. And yeah, they can probably push a production forward enough on good faith alone because their name means something. But, I mean, Tom Hiddleston was a nobody before he got into Marvel movies. So was Chris Hemsworth. But they would have made it at some point. Like, the whole entertainment industry needs to be making less money. How much would you charge to start a full season TV show? Charge as an actor? Only what it takes for me to live. Wages for jobs for me, like, if it was a perfect world, we'd be making a universal minimum wage. We'd have all the money. And actually, no, if it was a perfect world, we wouldn't have to pay for any of the stuff that it takes to live. We would just have all the stuff that we need. We would have internet as a public utility. We would have, all our gas, water, electric, all that would be paid for. Our housing would be paid for, ideally. And we'd have like a basic stipend from the government to just buy food when we need it. Like SNAP, essentially, but for everybody. And then at that point, anything else that you earn would be just gravy on the top. You'd be able to go and buy a fancy car or something. Like if you made $1 million, you go buy a fancy fucking car or something like that. But right now in this, I don't know what I would charge. I would charge, if I was an actor and I was going on to a television production, I would probably be so stoked in to be in a production that I've been like dreaming about, that I would just ask for like whatever I needed to live. I'd be like, well, let's see, this is what my rent costs, this is what food's going to cost me every month, this is what my pets cost, and it would probably be just a little over like minimum wage. It'd be like maybe $25 an hour, and I'd want to work hourly, even though I know that that's not like a SAG thing. I don't think they have like, and this brings up a good problem with SAG, is that unions can be corrupt. Unions can be money grubbing. Unions can be like, good, but they can also really suck. And if your rep has like a pinky ring, then you probably are in a bad union. Like serfs, I don't know. I don't know what the philosophy behind serfs is. I know that it's like a whole class-based thing, but I don't know the lore behind the term serfs. I know that it's like serfs were like the commoners, and then you had like knights and royalty and stuff, but I don't know if that's accurate at all. But like, I think what people do a lot of times is they'll look back in history and they'll take a look at these productions that were really successful in hindsight because they were low budget. And not necessarily because they were low budget, but despite the fact that they were really low budget. And they'll take a look at movies like, what's it called? 28 Days Later. And they'll take a look at the fact that was all filmed on a hand cam, and they were able to make it for like $50,000. And you look at these things, you say like, okay, if we're going to cut costs, maybe we should cut costs from the production itself, as opposed to cutting costs in getting a lesser known actor, or opposed to cutting costs in, adding more digital effects or cleaning up the practical ones. Cynical, what'd you say here? We painted ourselves into a weird corner where not only can Carl Urban ask for a bunch of money, he basically has to, unless it's a project from somebody like Francis Ford Coppola or something, unless he would lose his ephemeral handhold on whatever status he has as an actor right now. It seems a pretty unsustainable situation. Well, that's why I'm saying that we need to take away name recognition from things. We need to just eliminate the whole brand identity thing. And just actors are actors. It's a job just like any other job. And like, yeah, you can probably say that it's specialized so that you can make as much as doctors, but that should be the limit. We should not be paying an actor more than a doctor. And call me a socialist for that, but that's like fucking insane that people whose jobs it is to save lives get paid less than a person whose job it is to go and recite lines. Insane. Wild. But that would also, I mean, and I don't think it's just the entertainment industry. Doctors, they make six digits easy. Easy. I would say you probably start out as a doctor making somewhere like 80. How much salary doctor starting? Even more. Average starting salary for a U.S. physician is $400,000. Woo! Still not as much as an actor. Like, do you see how ridiculous this is? Do you see like what an insane difference that is? Crazy. I mean, you may make $250,000 an episode for like an HBO show if you're a lesser known actor, And that's like smaller productions, it's like 8 days worth of work, but like bigger productions, that's like a couple of weeks to a couple of months for a single episode. But that's enough for a house in some markets. That's $250,000. That's a lot of money. That's more than I can make in 6. That's more than I would make in 6 years. That's more than I would make in 6 years. What some actors get paid, lesser known actors, for like a series on HBO is more than 6 years of my current wages. And people are like, well, where did the budget go? I know where it went. It went to the actors, it went to the producers, it went to the people who stand to make the most from the success of The Boys. And as will the residuals. And I'm not decrying actors. Like, I don't think it's their fault. I think they're doing what they have to do in order to survive. It's really the climate that allows this that is the culprit. I was a senior developer on the biggest game in the world and I was making 160. And that's so fucking low. That's it. For those of you who don't know what the average, salary or what the average revenues are for like the biggest video games in the world, it's fucking 160. Like, cynical, man. You should have been making way more. Fuck. Like, you should have a summer home and a winter home in addition to your main home. You should have 3 homes by now. I'm a witch doctor and I don't make squat. Hey man, preach to the choir, you know. I don't make anything unless I have a job, unless I like get a client. I basically have to work on fucking good faith. I have to work on my existing reputation, which, as you can tell by my numbers on YouTube, is not very well known. It's not very prominent. What's your thoughts on the Marathon Budgie game budget? Big budgets are bad, man. Big budgets are bad. I think that people should be making what is fair, but I think having industry standards that are just way above living wages is just crazy. Like, first, things shouldn't cost as much as they do. Like, that's fucking middleman's fault. Like, that's why I say if you watch any video of the old videos on my stream or on my channel, just only watch the sales industry as a scam video, because that will tell you exactly how I feel about people in the middleman industry. Like, I cannot stand the fact that if it costs $1 for an apple at a farm, then it's going to cost at least $3.50 to $3.99 by the time it gets to the store, because you've got to pay for the gas it took to get to the holding facility that they kept it in. You got to pay for the people to organize it into the holding facility. You've got to pay for the holding facility's storage space in the first place, likely with some arbitrage or rent fees. Then you got to pay the gas to get it transported to whatever distribution company it's going to go to, and then a distribution company is going to charge their own fee for that, because they have to distribute it to you to pay their own gas and their own insurance fees and their own rent and their own employees' wages. It's so fucking overcomplicated for no reason that we've worked ourselves into these industries of just so many fucking charges that we're being nickeled and dimed into poverty actively. It's so insane. And it's so reflected in The Boys. It's reflected in The Boys' final season and in the final episode, because if you look at episode 1 of the first season, you had Maeve standing in a spot on the street destroying a truck, like as it's like crashing over her, and it shows it all like completely slow motion. Fucking Homelanders like flying in and out. You got A-Train, like they're actually showing the speed effect. And they showed like a whole trail of like Robin's goo entrails and all this kind of shit. I get it that pilot episodes are like for spec, but this show was already being created. They already had it greenlit. They didn't need to. It's not like pilots are usually for spec, meaning like they're gonna get like a production company to order episodes. They didn't have to do that with this. They already had a full first season funded. Isn't it overcomplicated due to the massive count of regulations? That is definitely like union policies. The fact that like union representatives have to be present because that they get paid too. They're gonna have to get paid to be there. Same thing with like the people in the union. Now, corrupt unions are bad, but I believe that unions in general are good because they provide people with representation when it comes to being exploited from bad working conditions. The bad thing about them is that they keep also asking for more and more money. They need more in dues, they need more in licensing fees, they need more in rights. Because you don't just start out as a union production. You start out as a production, and you are more dependable and you're more reputable and you're more ethical if you incorporate people. You would get actually like a pool of people to hire from, and you'd get like representatives who can help you like find people to hire if you go through SAG, if you go through the most well-known unions. And if you don't do that, people are going to see you as like a shady business. They're going to be like, well, what do you have to hide? Like what's going on with you won't participate in the game that everybody else is? That's also a problem. Like, do you see what I'm saying? People are feeling like strong-armed into participating in these systems that don't benefit anybody except for the people who created them. That's just like our government. If you spend $100 million on a game putting you in the AAA price range, then you better spend another $100 million on marketing or you're going to lose money, which means you probably shouldn't have spent $100 million in the first place. And then you're going to have to recoup $200 million. You're going to have to recoup more than $200 million just to make your nuts so that you can pay for like your employees and so like any extra unforeseen circumstances. This is why I like running businesses in the restaurant sector, because it's all just really analog. It's like you spend $300, you know exactly how much you need to get in return because it's all fixed. You have a menu to look at, you have your P&L statements, and you can just figure out how much you need to make to break even. It's all right there in front of your face. So much easier than anything corporate. And that's exactly why we've gotten to the point where we have, because all these systems that people are creating that don't make any sense and don't benefit anybody except for the app creators or the third-party console creators or the POS creators or the people who program these things or any of the people who offer these exclusive services to things that need to be maintained by the company itself are fucking evil. They're driving up the prices of everything. And with games, you don't have any product to sell at all until you have a finished thing, which could take 10 years. So you don't make a dime for almost a decade. And that's another thing, is that it has to stretch, you know? Like, you got to make that shit last, or you have to ask for more money. And if you ask for more money, you have to capitulate to more people. It's bullshit. Restaurants don't make money for like the first 3 years. Do you know how many people you're beholden to after that? Yourself. Essentially, you're the one that's gone into debt to open it. You're the one and your investors, they're only expecting a percentage return on your net sales. So it's way easier to open a restaurant than it is to open like a game studio or something, but I still I think that we just need to bring down prices across the board. Real estate would be the first sector that I think would start to bring down other places. And in order to do that, we need to get rid of like the price fixing, just the blatant price fixing that's going on in every city in America. Like if you live here and you have tried to rent in the past like couple years, you know that it's a fucking crapshoot. But it's bad because it kills the art side of games. I mean, you shouldn't. I think if I'm to describe like what I think my perfect dystopia or utopia is, it's like money doesn't come into the equation at all. Like making a good product and service does. You know, you make a good product and service, and then after that, if you make money, then you're like, all right, cool. Like now we'll do it again. But like, I know that limits what you can do because you still have to hire a team. You have to have funds to do all that. I get it. But maybe you shouldn't be starting from zero in the first place, you know? Maybe we shouldn't just be letting every Tom, Dick, and Harry get loans that that they're never going to be able to pay back if they don't succeed. Because then it puts the onus on them to be more corporate minded. It puts the onus on them to be more submissive or whatever you would say to say that they have to defer more, deferential to the people that invest. Like, if it's a bank, I don't think I have to give a shit. But if it's like, you know, my family and like shareholders, if I'm a company, then I probably would care a little bit more about trying to make that nut, you know? But I think that the decline in the episode that we're talking about is mostly due to just too many things going on at once. And I think that it could have been better. I don't know. I think having the good guys not necessarily win is the better storytelling choice. That's what originally, like, it seems like some of the leaks had some of the stuff correct, and you know, there were some story beats that would have made sense for the narrative. And like, let's say if Butcher had died in the fight with Homelander, that would have been a great substitute for the moment where Homelander dies in the comics. You know, because he and Homelander, he and Black Noir, who reveals himself to be a clone of Homelander, they just essentially kill each other. Like they fight to the death on the whole thing, you know, or on the White House lawn on the whole thing. Got any pats? I don't know what that means. Pats like head pats? Like you did a good job there, soldier. Would you pat a soldier on the head? I don't if they don't dislike it, then it's probably okay. Hank Green did a decent video about this recently where he talked about the economics of the digital content creation. Well, I mean, yeah, good for him doing that. It's definitely not just in tech. It's not just in the corporate world. Jesus Christ, Skippy. Pets, yes, I do. I've got, well, they're not here right now, but I typically have 2 dogs sitting next to me, and the other's out in the living room, typically. But this is present in all industries. I think it's most glaringly obvious in like logistics, where people just kind of name their own prices for holdings. And I think they probably all got the idea from fucking Parks and Rec. Because I remember the way that who is it? Someone's trying to help Ron open a business. It's Adam. It's what's his face's character? Oh, fuck. It's Ben. God damn it. Ben is trying to help. What are their names? Chewy and Paquita. But I call them Chi-Chi and Paquito. So Ben is trying to show Ron, or no, not Ron, Tom. Ben is trying to watch Tom. I haven't watched the final episode of The Boys yet, but I've read the comics multiple. It has there's only one story element that it matches in the comics. It's the most useless and completely infuriating one. There's actually 2 story elements, but they're connected, and it's stupid. It's bad. It's real bad. Not very good. What were they saying? I always do this. I always lose my train of thought. It happens a lot. Was absence. Yep, true. Gen V mishandled the Gen V thing. They tried to fit too much into it. And it just seems like they're really just trying to like backdoor pilots into this, and I don't know. It's not good. I got a pack of dogs, like literally a ton of dogs. List all their names. All of them. In the comic, Butcher essentially goes full genocide on Compound V users, and everybody dies, more or less. Yep. The only people who survive are like Huey and Annie. And I don't think Kimiko lives. Maybe the Deep lives? One of the 7, I think, survives everything. But I don't remember. Maeve gets decapitated. Which would have been a better ending for her. But that's, I think, season before last season. I mean, whatever. It's fine that she gets to go and, like, live off her life with, you know, with the person she loves. But, like, we're supposed to be telling a dark story, you know, where like, you're not supposed to, nobody's supposed to have a happy ending in these things. I think it's the same thing of how like people sort of misunderstand they misunderstand what anti-heroes are. And I think Lobo, the most recent issue of Lobo in the new Level Up or Next Level DC series, it kind of describes an anti-hero in a way that I hadn't heard before. But it's like a villain that does all the killing, like a villain that does a bunch of killing, and then occasionally finds a motivational aspect to act decently. which I guess makes sense, but I'm not entirely sure. To me, an anti-hero is a hero who's willing to, not a hero, but a person who ends up being a hero in the end. You know, like, that's the kind of person who is, like, really, like, doing all kinds of bad stuff, and then at some point, when they're gone, when their legacy is being reflected upon, then you say, like, wow, they really were a hero. Just like how Huey was talking about how Butcher was a hero. Certainly not a hero for, you know, a lot of the show. Your YouTube link on your link tree is broken. Well, that shit breaks quite often. I don't know why it does that. You shouldn't have to refresh your link tree every now and again. Gosh darn it. And then what else? What else? Who else was it? Nope, I think that's it. I think we did good. Stan Egger being in charge makes sense. I kind of wish that was how, you know, the tone was for the rest of the episode. But, and then Ashley getting, like, impeached. That was hilarious. But yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm actually kind of thinking about it, and I really just think that my biggest problem was with how the comments were surrounding it, like, about the budget. I guess maybe that's, like, my biggest just, like, area of, like, why? Like, why? I get that your marketing materials have to look a certain way, and you got to promote it a certain way, but why say, like, oh, you know, this is where all the budget went? Like, when people are criticizing your thing, like, why can't you just say, like, you know, oh, you know, I hear you, but we disagree, we like it, or something. Like, stand by your shit. You know, like, it's like, that's like a chef going like, oh yeah, you know, I wanted to use spinach for this arugula salad, but you know, I couldn't find spinach, or the spinach was too expensive, and so I settled for arugula. I hope you like it anyway. That's like the same shit, man. Just don't say anything about the budget. Just say, like, we couldn't do big set pieces this year. We couldn't, or this episode, or this season, or whatever, you know? Like, I feel like the way that you puff it up and the way that you market it is like, oh, get ready for it. Because you fucking said, Kripke himself said in a post, he was like, oh, get ready. This isn't the most, oh no, I think it was Anthony who was like, get ready. This is going to be like, he hasn't even done the worst thing yet this season. Yeah, like, ready. Like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm ready to see it. But no such luck, unfortunately. You know? Such a sham. But, like, I wouldn't be surprised to hear later on that there was, like, oh, there was a lot of talk about spin-offs. They really wanted to continue so-and-so's story. They wanted to make, like, they wanted to wrap things up. It's just like, you know that's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. And, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, they're going to be like, behind the scenes of The Boys, did you know? And then it's going to be like one of those listicles where it's like, did you know? They didn't really want to do this. They wanted to do this instead. And, like, it was worse because they did this. But, hey, they really wanted to do this. And then in retrospect, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, you know, I think that would have made a lot more sense. And then they're going to remember it more fondly because they're like, yeah, you know, it's much closer to what I would have envisioned as a, you know. And then, you know, they don't want to, people don't want to rock the boat, so they're going to be, like, supporting that. I don't know. That's just how I see it evolving, but maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I have so little faith in people actually calling out, like, what is the underlying problem to things, because, like, I feel like they think that if they do, they're not going to themselves be able to be richer actors or anything like that. I feel like that's why, like, farmers were afraid to push back against Trump, because, like, they're making, not all farmers, but a lot of decent farmers are making a decent amount of money, and that would, like, go away if they, I don't know, if they, like, spoke out against him or something. I don't know. I don't know what keeps people from speaking truth to power, but I don't know. And all this, like, worship that we have for, again, the name recognition is still kind of irks me. Like, the fact that, we're not going to have another Francis Ford Coppola unless somebody starts ignoring Francis Ford Coppola. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the next Francis Ford Coppola is not going to be the person that grew up watching Francis Ford Coppola movies and then wanting to be exactly like Francis Ford Coppola. It's a person who is like, oh, I would have done it this way. And then they go off and they do their own thing, and then they just happen to be as smart and talented as Francis Ford Coppola, and there you go. What keeps people from speaking truth to power is retribution, right? So let's say if you're in a position to make a bunch of money at a job and you are given information, credible information that says that job is actually like stealing from people, and it's against your morals for that to happen, but you don't say anything, because if you did, you would get fired and your job wouldn't be able to pay you that much money, and so therefore you decide, maybe I'm not going to say anything. It's the same thing. If you were to say, like, to Eric Kripke, whoever's directing the episode, like, no, I don't think that works because there's a plot hole now. Like, now you have to explain how this happened, like in the writer's room or whatever, when you're editing on the editing floor, whatever. You're not gonna say what the truth is to the producer or whoever's weighing in, because they hold the power. They could fire you. They could, like, make your shit not on the screen. They could edit you out. They could, like, take all kinds of measures that still fit within union guidelines to, like, oust you from the production. So it behooves people to just keep their trap shut, lest they be taken action against. Corporate culture of fear. You know? And that's what I mean by, like, you don't get rich unless you take advantage of somebody. Like, that happens. You know, if you want to try and hold power over somebody, you're gonna cause them trauma. You're gonna make them afraid to do, you know, this kind of shit, to speak out anymore. And then that's how you get, you know, retribution later on. Like the Me Too movement, you know, called out Weinstein for all his monstrous bullshit. Same shit. Same shit's gonna happen in terms of you know, commerce sense when people actually wake up and realize, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. The nail that sticks out gets hammered down is a true fucking statement. Yes, and then you get Luigi, and then you get guys like Luigi, but he is the product of exactly what's happening. He himself is well-to-do, and he still felt like he needed to take action in his own hands, because people like that are untouchable. He felt like, I mean, maybe I'm assigning a more romantic narrative to his whole reasoning for everything, but hard not to project an actual, like, you know, romantic image onto that, unfortunately. Which sharply contrasts with the Americans saying the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Yeah, but it's not about speaking up. It's about being the loudest in the room. Those are the people that get recognized. It's not the people who are contributing the yeah, Brock, have a good one. It's not about the people who are contributing to a thing, and it's not about the people who are all just saying the things that need to be said at the time with normal voices. It's about who yells and screams and thrashes around and throws temper tantrums. Unfortunately. It was, I suppose, almost a befitting end to the season, because the season itself has been a little lackluster. And that's not saying, like, The Boys sucks. You know, it's been fine, but it's just been like, okay, where's this headed? You know? And I think it ties up the storylines that were left that are big storylines. But again, it doesn't handle any of the small stuff. It doesn't, what happened to the psychics? What's going to happen to all the bad soups? Like, soups are, by their very nature, and maybe they forgot this from the first season, but when a soup becomes a soup, they lose the part of their brain that adjusts their morals. They lose their moral centers. They become essentially psychopaths. And maybe we just forgot that because Soldier Boy is not just a needless psychopath. It's what Clara would have wanted. What? Maybe V1 lets you keep your moral centers. I don't know, but is that the amygdala? Is that what regulates your moral center? Help me remember. Because I know the hippocampus is what forms thought, or memory. Oh, damn it. Memory? I don't know my brainal regions. Brainal. Funny terms. By the way, if you're just joining, if we end up getting to 500 subs, then I, a thalassophobic, will start playing Subnautica 2. I'll immediately switch. So if you'd like to see me scared shitless, then force me to play Subnautica. And then I will. I won't want to, but I will. I'll be staunchly against it. Which is, I guess, why I wasn't in too much of a hurry to mention it. I tried to dig out motion sickness from it. See, it's not even the motion sickness that I'm afraid of. It's really the fucking beasts, the scary monster beasts. Just scary monster beasts. Just scary and in dark water and just fucking scary and shit, and like I don't like it. I love Jensen Ackles, but I can't say I'm very interested in the Vault Rising concept. Nope. No, sir. It's like, you know, putting a hat on a hat on a hat. You don't need it. You could have spent that budget making the last season good. Like, gosh darn it. Oh yeah, no, I saw a big fish in the distance, and because I booted it. Whenever I install a new game, I boot it up to make sure that it's gonna work. And I booted it up, and I was like, oh, I'm wandering around and stuff, and I happened in front of a big fish and was like, nope. No, sir. Yeah, also, I did read that it is very, very in a primitive state right now. Which, I mean, hey, I honestly think that's like a good way to develop something. Then you get to listen to people's feedback and get, like, information about how to proceed with the game. I think that's cool. I like that. I like that level of community engagement, you know? Gosh darn it. Alright. What's happening right now? I think my dogs are doing something, but I'm not sure. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Be right back. Yes, I know. She's crazy. She's crazy. Aloha! Glucosamine and chondroitin. I don't know if you guys knew that. Bone health, or joint health. Also, take fiber. It's really important. Take fiber. Don't be crazy. Take fiber. I don't know who needs to hear that, but take fiber supplements. Next news, I think? Is it Next News Nation? No, it's not News Nation. Next News something. Next News 5? Is it the Next News Network? Yes. So we're going back into Disclosure now that we're done talking about the boys. Going back into Disclosure. Let's see. Trump and aliens. Are we distracted yet? I'm gonna delete the stuff from the boys. There we go. Change my El Thumbnailo to something else. To what? am I going to change it to? Did I not? I guess I didn't save any of these. Darn it! I guess I'll just change it to this one. I thought I kept my my screenshot. Man. These as tiles. See if I lost anything in here. Nope. Okay, fine. We'll just use that one. Oh. There we go. All right. We have achieved cohesion. That's a tiny dog, yeah? She's like 6 or 8 or something like that. I have her paperwork, so I don't not know how old she is, but dude what? Dude yourself. What are you doodin', Kyle? What you doodin'? I'll actually make this small so you guys can still take a look at my L office. Just make this bigger. There you go. Kyle, you don't just go into a random room and say, dude. You gotta give me some context here. I need more than a dude. Wait a second. We're almost there. I just gotta... Sorry, guys. This is breaking news. Okay, guys. This is breaking news. Let's just like all stop what we're doing, and just shut up. And shut up and listen to this breaking news. All right, hang on. We're about to get there. Hang on. Aliens and Trump. Are we distracted? Just trying to make sure I'm changing my whole thing here, because we are getting into disclosure. Disclosure. It was a terrible final. I agree. It wasn't terrible. I don't think it was terrible. I think it was bad. I think it needed some zhuzhing. You know? Needed a little zhuzh. A little bit of a zhuzh. How you doing, Race? How you doing? There we go. All right. I got my... So, I don't know if I said this at the beginning, at the top of the stream, but I had to disable stream elements. After yesterday's issues with the dropped frames, I had to try and figure out what was going on. And, my computer did not want to cooperate with me. So, I had to, essentially just start over from scratch, and Stream Elements was like, nope, I don't want to work anymore. And so then I had to just basically go for a different multi-streaming thing. This is just an add-on, a plugin for OBS. It's working pretty well. I'm getting my desired bitrate. All my streams are up. There you go. Feel like things are doing okay now. Okay, and then let's put this here. and then make it smaller. There we go. And let me put that in the vertical real quick. No interruptions today. Yeah, it hasn't been at all shitty. Just hope that continues. There we go. We did it. Congratulations, everybody. We made it work. Breaking news! Breaking! This news is so breaking that it's broken everything in my house. The news has smashed all of my vases. It smashed every single one of my windows. The news is so fresh and new and breaking that my hip has broken. My hip is currently breaking right now. It is currently in mid-break. Alright? My hips are broken, my legs are broken, even my jaw is broken because it hit the floor so hard. Because of all of this devastating news. Devastating new developments. Trump's secretly an alien? You'll just have to watch to find out. So do you think USA is going to leave NATO? Have we not already? I'm surprised. I thought that we would have already left by now. And then NATO will be a European-only alliance, probably. Yeah. I think I asked this before. Which country are you from, though? I didn't hear your answer or see your answer or anything like that.
Next news.
Next news.
Over 1 billion people worldwide have now visited the Pentagon's UFO file portal. That is no small number. It's happening right now under President Trump's second term. Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell just confirmed the first batch of UAP documents drew record traffic, and the second wave of files is already being processed for release. Lawmakers like Representative Burchett, they're saying the resistance inside Washington is not about the objects themselves. It's about admitting decades of lies. And the question that millions are asking tonight is very simple. What exactly
True, it is
hiding?
About
See, this matters for every American because transparency about advanced technology or non-human intelligence.
Just so many lies. So much lies from the government that it's a random, no-name EU country. That doesn't help. I didn't think that it would be like, I didn't think that it would be difficult for people to say where they're from. I figured that's like that's not a doxing thing, is it? Are you from Hungary? Is that why, maybe you like gravitate towards, other people of Slavic descent? Is that Slavic? Germanic? What is that? No, but close. Turkey. Herzegovina. Constantinople. Mesopotamia. The cradle of civilization. Sparta. Romania. Do you know that, like, my heritage is Romanian? Do you know that before you came here, or are you just learning that now? Are you just now learning that? Isn't that weird? It's such a small goddamn world. Although Hungarian goulash is one of my favorite dishes, so it's not. I mean, Romanians eat Hungarian goulash, but I would think that they probably call it something different. Romanian goulash. I don't know. I love folk music from that region. That is like some of my favorite, like old traditional folk music from the Caucasus.
Could reshape national security, energy policy, and public trust in our institutions.
Why is she's out there barking? She's not a barker. She doesn't do this normally.
If recovered craft and multiple species claim
why is she barking? Stop.
The cover-up has robbed the American people of breakthroughs in propulsion.
It's because she wants food, and because I haven't given her food. It's just goulash. Yeah, I figured. I figured you probably didn't call it Hungarian goulash in Romania. Considering how a lot of people feel about Hungary right now. What? Why did I hit all?
Energy that could have strengthened our republic. The elite are already prepping in ways regular families are
No.
not, and that tells you something big is coming. The Trump administration is forcing the issue anyway, and the people deserve the truth without the usual Washington gatekeeping. Now, before we go further, some breaking news tonight on America's critical mineral supply chain. Saga Metals trading as SAGMF in the U.S. and SA.
Yeah, you know, I feel like if your news network has to air on YouTube, that you're probably not as well recognized as other news networks. You know, but alternative news has great appeal to people who believe that the mainstream media is out to just lie to them. Totally understandable. Makes complete sense. I definitely understand it. I don't necessarily agree, you know, but I totally understand it. Completely understandable. No arguments here. Except for that I don't agree. My favorite soup right now would be tripe soup. Tripe soup's not bad. There's a Italian dish called tripa napolitana. It's pretty good. Or is it Parmesan? It might be Parmigiana. I mean, Napolitana, Parmigiana are just like styles of the region. They're just like the regional styles of that particular dish, so it doesn't really matter that much, but... Okay, well, let me play this. We'll let play. I have, I think, already watched most of it, but we'll let this play while I feed my dogs. I will be right back.
GA in Canada is now emerging as a major story in the race to secure materials tied directly to national defense. In less than 6 months, Saga has moved with...
Oh, yeah. This channel is all AI. It's all AI images. I'm guessing that the Chiron is AI. I'm guessing the panels are AI. I'm guessing the overlay is AI. I'm guessing that even his like background is probably AI. Like, show me an AI picture of the White House, you know.
Have now visited the Pentagon's
1 billion, even though it's just views on a website. I'll be right back.
UFO file.
Feed my dogs.
That is no small number. It's happening right now under President Trump's second
Yes,
term.
I know,
Pentagon
I know,
spokesman
I know. Yes,
Sean
yes.
Parnell just confirmed the first batch of UAP documents drew record traffic, and the second wave of files is already being processed for release. Lawmakers like Representative Burchett, they're saying the resistance inside Washington is not about the objects themselves. It's about admitting decades of lies. And the question that millions are asking tonight is very simple. What exactly are they still hiding? See, this matters for every American because transparency about advanced technology or non-human intelligence could reshape national security, energy policy, and public trust in our institutions. For years, the deep state has slow-walked information, even while President Trump kept his word to push disclosure forward. If recovered craft and multiple species claims prove true, the cover-up has robbed the American people of breakthroughs in propulsion and energy that could have strengthened our republic. The elite are already prepping in ways regular families are not, and that tells you something big is coming. The Trump administration is forcing the issue anyway, and the people deserve the truth without the usual Washington gatekeeping. Now, before we go further, some breaking news tonight on America's critical mineral supply chain. Saga Metals trading as SAGMF in the U.S. and SAGA in Canada is now emerging as a major story in the race to secure materials tied directly to national defense. In less than 6 months, Saga has moved with unusual speed. Last week, the company announced a 100% drill success rate across all 57 holes at its radar project, and they finished ahead of schedule. Now that matters because radar is being positioned as a potential host for the kind of strategic minerals that America needs to maintain technological superiority. Check out the in-depth interview with the CEO on this topic I did over the weekend, and check the exclusive briefing link below, but it's only for Next News viewers. Now back to the UFO disclosure story that just hit another milestone. See, the cultural conversation is no longer fringe. Joe Rogan just asked on air if this is controlled disclosure, slow-dripping talk of reptilians, Nordics, and Greys onto regular television to get the public used to the idea. Meanwhile, researchers are naming 4 distinct species recovered from crashes. The deep state is reportedly fighting every single step of the way. So this is from Sean Parnell breaking. Over 1 billion users around the world have visited war.gov/UFO. The second release of UAP files are actively being processed for publication on the site. More to come very soon. 1 billion views at war.gov/UFO. So he's confirming the billion visits to the website. More files on the way. Michael Sala says the Trump team sees this as start of the bigger announcement. Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell reveals the worldwide impact of the first batch of UFO files and confirms the second will be released soon. The Trump administration is aware of the global impact of its UFO disclosure initiative and is preparing humanity for big announcements concerning ET visitors. So the global reach lines up with what insiders are now claiming about resistance at the top. Now, Tim Burchett says deep state elements are slow walking the truth because they've been lying for decades. Claims UFO files may expose decades of secrecy and possibly more. His allegation that elements inside Washington are resisting further disclosure because admitting the truth could mean admitting they've been lying to us for all these years.
All about the UFOs and the aliens.
Well, the problem we have right now is the deep state's fighting the president on releasing. He kept his word, and I suspect some of our not so friendly comrades in some of our alphabet agencies are slow walking a lot of information. It's about power, it's about control, and that's kind of what runs Washington.
All right, what do you think is in these files, and why do you think they're not trying to release any of them? Like they're partial release.
Part of it's going to be that they're going to have to admit that they've been lying to us all these years, and there could be some
I'm back.
There could be some other things. I don't think we're ever going to get everything we have.
Hey, Helmet, how's it going?
But that's kind of the nature of the game. But Trump
Soaking beans for 15 beans, so you're only soaking 15 individual beans? Is that what you're doing, Helmet? You're only soaking 15 individual beans? Because I don't think that's going to be a good enough meal. All right, I gotta tell you that much. Don't you do it? Don't you do it? I'll take you down, girl. I'll take you down. She's trying to steal from her sister. All right, where are we at now?
Aliens.
Well, the problem we have right now is the deep state's fighting the president on releasing. He kept his word, and I suspect some of our...
Who is the deep state? Is it still the Rothschilds? Is it still just the Jews? Like, are we still just attributing all of the world, the shit that goes on in the world to the Jews? Like, is that just what we've been doing this entire time? The Freemasons rule the country! Name that TV show. Name the TV show that I got that from. Freemasons rule the country!
Not so friendly comrades in some of our alphabet agencies are slow walking a lot of information. It's about power.
Yeah, man, go get some food. Go get yourself some food, man. Ba-ba-da. What do you feed your dogs? We do mix between dry food and fresh pet, I think. Yeah, but they're the size of watermelons. 7 beans? Why do you only eat 7 beans? I mean, my stomach could probably only hold like at least 2. Or at the most 2. Those are knife and fork beans you're talking about. All right? You gotta get serious. You gotta get serious with your bean eating. And like, man, that's a lot. 7 beans?
It's about control, and that's kind of what runs Washington.
All right, what do you think is in these files, and why do you think they're not?
Have you ever adhered to any secret society? Well, no. If I did, I wouldn't be able to tell you. That's like rule number 1 of a secret society. It's in the name. If you can't keep a secret, probably shouldn't be a member of a secret society.
Trying to release any of them, like they're partial release.
Part of it's going to be that they're going to have to admit that they've been lying to us all these years, and
but who in the deep state is involved in disclosure right now? All the agencies are under Trump's control. He's been pretty vocal about that. He's been pretty, outspoken about how in control of everything he is right now. So I find it extremely surprising that Burchett himself would still believe that he's a member of the deep fucking state if this is what we're talking about. He doesn't want the Epstein files to come out, so he's helping his boss push for this thing that he's been pushing more or less since fucking Iran-Contra. Like, the 8-tip guy and the whistleblower? Who, you mean, what, this guy? When does he blow the whistle? At really convenient times? And the other crew from History Channel and Skinwalker Ranch. What in reference to what?
there could be some cover up of zero energy. There could be some...
And that guy from Blink-182, he's really helping with it, but like I think if anything, the people who are advocating for it are being fleeced. You're either talking about Dave Grush. I think you're talking about Dave Grush.
Other things. I don't think we're ever going to get everything we have.
Okay, well, Dave Grush was not former CIA, but I think you're talking about Dave Grush. He was intelligence officer for the Air Force.
But that's kind of the nature of the game. But Trump's kept his word so far to me, so I'm another personal word he had with me. So I'm proud of that.
Zero energy. That's the word that I want to learn about. Silvercheck calling it straight about power and control.
Well, it's a term. It's not a word. 0 point energy. Is that what you're talking about? I mean, that's an easy way to explain how you don't understand things. But just because it's in a first-hand account of anything doesn't mean it's true. Like, it's what we were talking about the other day with disclosure is that a lot of these accounts that are coming out are just accounts of things. They're just stories that people are telling. And I guess if you're really ready to believe all the stuff that's in the Bible, maybe you're a lot more willing to believe people's just testimony on things, but that doesn't mean shit. Just because someone who was in the military once says, it doesn't matter what their position is. President even. I do not give a shit. Even if they say, yeah, aliens are real, they visited me, and they have been here for decades, I still don't have to believe that. I could still wait for the proof. But, like, one person saying something doesn't mean shit. So, and especially if they're, saying something that's completely insane. Like, oh yeah, we use 0 point energy to build the pyramids. Oh yeah? Excuse me, I'm gonna go over here. There's a reason why eyewitness testimony means almost nothing in court. Yeah. Lie detectors and shit, yeah. They don't mean shit. Pseudoscience and first-hand testimony. Totally convincing. I had a Freemason try to get me to invest in a free energy engine. A lot of Freemasons in Romania? Is that a thing? That's surprising. The scan was wild, and I got several free lunches out of it until I finally got pitched the scam. Yeah, that's usually how it works. It's a confidence game in the way that they build your confidence in what they're selling. You build their confidence in you, or they make you feel confident in buying. That's where the confidence comes in. That's why it's called a con. Very literally. Very literally. Well, it depends on the court. A lot of false sentences go on due to accepting eyewitness testimony in cases with no other evidence. Not in America. Unless the judge has it out for somebody.
Well, now, actor Michael Fassbender was weighing in on what the sudden flood of government releases might really mean.
Oh, it's quite
Okay, I love Michael Fassbender. I enjoy everything that I've seen him in. But why the fuck is he an authority on anything? Again, we owe way too much power to celebrities. Hey, are you done? Are you done eating? Thank you, madam. Are you ready for the check? Madam, come back. Please, madam. She's dining and dashing. Jerry, she's dining and dashing. Stop her! Stop her, Julio! No jury over here. What? And some judges fish especially for that. No jury over here. Over here, judges, jury, and executioner. You can just appeal. Well, that sucks.
interesting in the last couple of years that there's a lot of talk about, the American.
I'm glad that we're getting takes from Pothead Kenny.
The American government.
It's good that he's saying that he needs to eat something.
Really releasing sort of stuff that pilots have captured and unidentifiable flying objects, but they're called something else now. So it is in the media a lot at the moment, and you always wonder, what's that about? Hopefully that we could learn something from them. Hopefully they.
Feasting on their arsehole. Is he Irish? Health and a fire, clef and a clotted Dwayne.
Wouldn't be
What's the crack?
aggressive, but I don't know really how to answer it. I think
You haven't had a drop since I met you.
in our case, it's just, I think what's interesting about the aliens and what is sort of would be comparable.
But nobody's saying aliens. Nobody's saying aliens. Michael, please. You're just making things worse. Nobody was saying aliens. There was only like one account where they said that they recovered 4 non-human entities, and it's just like, now we've got Nordics, now we've got reptilians, now we've got Silurians or whatever, mantis people of bullshit. Like, what? We're just adding on to the nonsense. It's just noise. We're just trying to make it all into noise. Just want all kinds of noise. Disillusion is the goal here. He's German-Irish. Well, there you go. There you go. That's the descendancy of most people in the early days of the U.S.
Humans is they want the same.
And I mean like 1900. Not 1900. Just after the Industrial Revolution. So yeah, 1900. No. When did Gangs of New York take place? 1900, I think. 1908? No. 1800. I'm feeling like my brain is telling me that I'm saying like such wrong things right now. (1862–1863). Jesus Christ. Was I really that off? What was I thinking of? Maybe Red Dead Redemption? Because I know that takes place in like 1900 or like 1989 or 1899. 1889. Oh my god. I don't know why they're asking him about this though. Like asking about acting or race car driving. I know. Why is this news guy claiming that Fassbender is an authority on anything? Or treating him like an authority on anything? Hey guys, even Michael Fassbender's weighing in on it. Let's hear what he has to say.
Same things, which is just protecting their young. And it's sort of all down to that, protecting the future of their young, which we all do as well. So I guess the similarities between us and the aliens.
What does that mean, Michael? Michael! Why are you weighing in on this?
This is what we look at in this film.
So he must be talking about the Disclosure film that Spielberg is about to release. Not sure if he's in it, but that's what I believe he's referencing. So he wonders why pilots' footage is suddenly everywhere in the media. Now Joe Rogan is asking the bigger question. Is this Disclosure? They were talking about this on Fox News.
We're talking about the reptilians and the Nordics, the Greys.
God.
Fox News. TV. Like regular TV. Like...
You mean fucking sensationalist television where they're gonna say whatever they can to try and distract from from anything on the left? Yeah. Yeah.
What is going on here?
Fox
Is that
News. Yeah.
nonsense? Are they...
I swear to God, I think Joe Rogan is only pretending to be as stupid as he seems. I don't think that he's actually this stupid. He cannot be this stupid. Oh gosh! Fox is airing stuff that has nothing to do with the Epstein files. Isn't that strange? And they even started to say some weird shit about Nordics and like reptilians and stuff. Isn't that strange? It's almost like they're trying to capture the attention of the common man so they can distract him from whatever it is that's actually going on. It's so weird. Why would anybody do this? So strange.
being fed nonsense, or is this disclosure? And are they slow trickling this out to us to get regular folks like boomers, get them accustomed to this idea of there are entities out there? Okay, let's hear this.
No! Entities! Jesus Christ, Patrick, what's up? We have been talking about this shit for like the last 100 years. There have been sightings of UFOs in modern day since the 50s. We knew what was going on. Boomers knew what was going on. Boomers were around for Roswell. Boomers, the whoever the fuck you're talking about right now, Joe, I don't think exists. There are very few older people at this point who have never heard of aliens, or who don't think that, I mean, maybe to some extent aliens might exist, or that it's like demons or some shit, but they acknowledge that they're there. They acknowledge that there's something there. And like, there's all kinds of like fucking like Boris Karloff and shit, you know, like fucking spacemen and whatnot on goddamn Lucy show. It's been in media for a very long time. Boomers were around to fight the Nazi UFO in Antarctica. Yeah, with Admiral Byrd at the fucking ice wall. That's right. Yeah, at the ice wall. Right at the edge of the flat Earth. Or, sorry, right at the edge of the flat Earth plane before you get to the rest of the actual world. All right? Beyond the ice wall. Where Atlantis is, and where, what else? Where Lemuria is, and where Mu is. That's right. Let you know I knew all that. Well, it's because I'm a member of a secret society. Yeah, Roswell was 1947. Yeah, it was right in the zeitgeist there. Everyone that is old now was like just steeped in it. It was in movie theaters. It was in the news. It was in newspapers. Albert Bender was the guy. They knew too much about flying saucers. Came out with a fucking zine in 49. I think it was 49. It was either 39 or 49. I'm really bad with my years today for some reason. But like, he started a zine that was really popular and took off, and then like the UFO sensation started, and then all the flying saucer shit happened, and the government was all too happy to have that, you know, distract from whatever the beginnings of the Cold War was. Like we were talking about like trying to increase technology, weapons technology, and that's why we started seeing all these experimental aircraft that turned out to be just planes later on. Government likes that kind of shit. They like obfuscation. The newer generation thought the internet invented aliens. I would not be surprised if that was true. I like how in the 50s aliens were robots until Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out, and then Sightings aligned with that movie's depiction of aliens. I super forgot about Sightings. Holy shit. I cannot believe that. And then a few decades later we got the X-Files, so thank you, I guess. Yeah. Maybe that was, you know, hey, that was probably just another form of disclosure, all right, guys? They were telling us that aliens exist, okay? according to this logic. When did the Greys pop up? The first depiction of Greys was like before before Martha and Benny Hill. Was it? The Nordics popped up in the 60s, 70s. The Greys. Oh man, I just watched a video that had the origin of the Greys in media. Origin of Grey aliens in media. First appearance, where is it? In literature descriptions, predate claims of supposed encounters. Man of the year million, describing humans as having no mouths, noses, or hair, with large heads. So H.G. Wells appears to have been one of the first. One of the craziest things I've heard somebody say is that science fiction exists specifically so that aliens can be written about in fiction to make them appear to be false. Yeah, the biggest trick that the devil ever pulled was convincing people he didn't exist. That's like an offshoot of that, which is obviously crazy for so many reasons, the least of which is not all science fiction even features aliens. How do you know, Cynical? Okay, do you even know science fiction? Do you even know what a science fiction is? Put your money where your mouth is. How dare you? What's a science fiction? I don't know. I wish I did. But unfortunately, I am not part of that, disclosure. Kaiser Soze. What? Was he an alien? What other platform are you streaming on? Twitch? It's Twitch and YouTube. Those are my two only ones. Solitary solo. Which, to be fair, is a cool idea for a story. Because it hides existence spells. Oh, yeah. Like a mimetic sort of thing. A massive disinformation campaign run by the government to convince people that aliens aren't real? Who would ever do such a thing? Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm getting this. I'm getting a bowl packed real quick. I'm gonna let this play. Nope.
This is what Dan from Age of Disclosure. That's one of
people I interviewed in my film. Senior intelligence officials went on the record saying that there have been dozens of crashed craft of non-human origin over the years.
Dozens.
Elements of our government have recovered those crashes, and they've gotten out of that technology of non-human origin, and in some cases, non-human bodies that were on these craft. A number of people in my film go on the record saying,
Yeah, right, but they're not showing any actual proof. They're just telling you stories. They're saying, oh, well, I heard an account of this. Oh, well, I heard a story of this. And they all keep passing each other around on the networks until they're all just fucking more rich than they were before. God damn.
that the bodies were not all the same type, meaning there were multiple species.
Were the bodies alive or were they dead?
The people in my film talked about events where they were dead bodies, they were deceased bodies.
And I mean, I get it. This guy's got a film to market, to advertise for. He's on a production tour. I get it. Or what is it? Promotional tour. I get it. That's how it goes with the paranormal. What?
Okay. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of speculation about the amount of UFO information we've been given on this first tranche. We expected more. We know there is more. Why do you
I've never
think
used that
people
word
inside
before.
the government
Tranche. Have you ever used that?
I've never used that word either, Joe. And it's always been like really funny to have played Borderlands 3 at its height and just remember Trant the whole time. And how his family line is pervasive throughout, I think, Maliwan. But it's hilarious to keep hearing this and then thinking back to the days of Borderlands 3.
fighting so hard to release more?
Yeah, so the president gave his directive in middle of February, essentially instructing all federal agencies to declassify evidence of non-human intelligent life and UAP. What happened after that is...
Or was the family named Trant? I don't think it was Trant. I think it was Tranche. I could be wrong.
the White House had to go get that evidence out of the hands of all these federal agencies, and they all for the most part pushed.
But the new character in Borderlands 4 is related to them. The one who has all the technology stuff. Pretty cool.
Back. The people who have gatekept this information for 80 years, they don't want to share it. They've gotten a lot of.
I was on Twitch, but the ads were going crazy for some reason, so I moved over to YouTube. It was playing one ad break, and then immediately another one. What? See, and I've been trying to make it so that there's no ads, and apparently you can't do that. I disabled pre-rolls, so that's a thing, but I don't know about the other stuff.
Power and
God, ads fucking suck, dude.
Control over the years, and it's just frankly not human nature for people to want to give up power and control. So there's a tug of war happening behind the scenes. There are a number of other reasons guiding their desire to keep the secret, including the general belief that the public can't handle the truth. I would argue the public can't handle the truth.
That's such a weak excuse to not disclose things. The public can't handle the truth? What? I'm sure most of us grew up watching alien-related shit at some point in our lives. That's just insane. What if aliens were real? Oh my god! Oh please no! Oh please, my religion! Who's afraid? Who's not able to handle the truth? These fucking people, the people who are saying that people can't handle the truth, are the ones who can't handle the truth.
My film shows that people aren't watching it and jumping out of windows. They're curious and they want to learn more. There's also a general feeling that a concern that they can't tell the American public what they know and don't know without also telling our adversaries.
Now, just so you guys know, these people have hundreds of thousands of followers, okay? So if we can get to 500, I'll be happy, but I'll also feel like it should have happened a long time ago. At least, hey, maybe I'm not delivering the news, the news. So maybe that's it.
And giving them some sort of advantage. But I think that's...
Is that good? Yeah, that's good. Go back to that one weird one in the beginning, the black and white one that looked like a star. That looked like...
No! We've gone over this one! Well, to be fair, people can't even handle AI, and it's just next generation so far. It's just a text generator so far. Well, no, it's making, really accurate-looking video and really, authentic-looking songs, or authentic-sounding songs and authentic-looking video, things like that. It's fine. It's it's not. I don't think that it should take the place of art, but AI has its uses, and I think that people are definitely using it, especially to confuse other people, especially during these times of disclosure and when things are coming out. I get it, but I don't know. I think they can handle AI. People on Facebook are like, what the fuck is this? But they're handling it. They're reposting it. And paint instead of real paint. Like I said, I think AI has its uses. I think that, if you use AI to assist you in the things that you can't necessarily do, then okay. But like, I don't think that it should take the place of art. It's fair enough that it's used to, like, you know, help people. That would be cool.
That's been debunked, I think. By
Is it?
Quora, yeah.
Oh, how dare they? That one?
Yeah.
That's debunked?
Yeah.
But this is one of the more recent ones.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank the fucking Lord that it's been debunked. I'm so glad. I wish that I had seen, you know, something that could have given me a little bit of reassurance that people aren't just collectively stupid earlier. But gosh darn it, I'm glad to know that it has been debunked. I thoroughly debunked it. And if a guy like me can debunk it, anyone can. So people should not have been so fully taken by the chaos sigil.
That was released in this immense dump of information. How's it been debunked?
It's like I'll fucking look.
I'm going to debunk the
Some sort
debunkers.
of flare.
Fuck off. That thing's awesome.
It doesn't mean it has to be real, though. It can be awesome, yes. If it looks awesome, cool. That doesn't mean it has to, like, oh, well, it's got to be aliens. Unfortunately, for me to still think that it's cool, it's got to be aliens. I'm sorry. There's no other way. So if you may notice, you may not notice, but you also may notice that I am adjusting the view here, and that's just so that I can crush this bowl without being on camera. If you feel like you want to crush a bowl too, please feel free. I'm going to let it play, and I'll be back once I'm done.
So Rogan suspected a slow dripping disclosure to get ordinary Americans used to the idea. Mario Naval reports researchers are now naming 4 distinct recovered species.
We are not alone. The Pentagon released the UFO files a few weeks back, and we just found out over 1 billion people have visited the site. 1 billion. It's got to be a record. The War Department says more files will be released soon. UFO experts and top researchers.
How many of those people are real and not just botted accounts? And why the fuck is 1 billion people visiting a website such a big milestone? There's 7 billion in the world, and I would bet that at least a seventh of them are super into UFOs. I want to fly some drones around for leisure and always have to worry about people thinking it's aliens. I don't think you have to worry about that. I think it's more the government's worry, but you could worry just on a consumer side, I guess. I don't think I would put much stock into it, though. Or thinking the drone is looking or spying on them. Now, that is a real concern that people have. That's more of a real concern.
Have been investigating aliens for years. Their
All right, I'm
sources
gonna crush
say
this
dozens
bowl.
of crashed
3,
UFOs
2,
have been recovered,
1.
and what they
Smoke
found
them if you got
inside,
'em.
shocking.
Do people think that there's one type of non-human intelligence that's visiting the Earth, or is there many, many types?
People who have been involved in recoveries have
There are
said
at least 4 separate types. Now, I have not had direct access to that, but I believe the people who I talked to.
4 different types
We
of
watched
life.
this.
4 different types of life.
We watched this.
4 different species of aliens. Another scientist called them greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails like a lizard. Insectoids look like a praying mantis. The greys look like your classic movie alien, and the Nordics look like a regular Swedish guy, but 7 feet tall. We haven't seen the evidence, but Pete Hegseth says more evidence is coming, and there are a lot of believers in Congress.
I have seen evidence in a skiff that...
Yeah, as long as you guys stop asking about the Epstein files, they'll release more information. Just stop asking about the Epstein files, God damn it!
leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion.
Releasing the files isn't easy. They've been hidden for years, and a lot of people want to keep it that way.
The problem we have right now is the deep state's fighting the president on releasing. He kept his word, and I suspect some of our not so friendly comrades in some of our alphabet agencies are slow walking a lot of information. It's about power, it's about control, and that's kind of what runs Washington.
So why is our own government fighting so hard to keep these secret? Well, a dozen scientists have either gone...
The conservatives are in power! The ones who want the disclosure to happen are the ones in charge! The president himself would have to be a member of the deep state to make sure that this shit doesn't get disclosed. They're telling you that disclosure's coming, but they're making it so fucking broad and vague and saying like, oh, well, you know, all this stuff that is just unexplained but not actually fucking aliens, we're gonna release that on a goddamn week-by-week basis, trickle-fed, so that you get to forget all about those pesky Epstein files and all those pesky child trafficking victims. God damn.
missing or died. Now, we don't know if that's related, but people are scared to talk.
One I thought was going to do an interview, and then a couple days before
It seems like people are scared to talk about the Epstein files.
sent me a message saying, after further consideration and long talks with my wife, I decided I'd be forfeiting my life if I participated in your interview. And I thought that was like very unsettling message to get, obviously, but also very specific word choice, you know, forfeiting my life.
So the 4 species line up with what sources have been telling investigators for
God
years.
damn, dude.
Now,
God damn. His first thing that he said was, so these species line up with what they were saying. What the fuck? Why are we making this leap all of a sudden? Aren't you a newsman? Aren't you supposed to be like news person? Hey, look at me. I'm News Guy 2000. I'm going to tell you all about how there's fucking reptilians. Jesus. That was like 30 years ago that people thought that was ridiculous, and it's still ridiculous. Where do they are these the guys that have been living in our Earth's core? You know, like how there's like oceans underneath the crust? Is this what they were talking about? Holy shit.
Priest, an exorcist, argues the sightings are demonic and designed to undermine scripture itself.
Why are we listening to a pastor about aliens? Why the fuck do we give two shits what any religious person says about fucking aliens? Is that where the discourse is coming from now? Goddamn.
Aliens always look the same. Hairless, big heads, huge eyes.
That's the way
Demons.
and the only way that God permits them to appear.
Demons.
To show a commonality. That might be the preferred way for the devil to appear in this manner, to denote an alien,
Sure.
because then there's no doubt that he's an alien and not a pixie.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that he's an alien and not a goth figure from South Indiana.
Uh-huh.
The devil packages
Right.
himself and
That was fucking just a bunch of ridiculous gobbledygook. What that guy just said. Well, there are oceans of water beneath the crust, but it's all locked up in the rock itself. No, yeah, that's what they would find if they actually went down and looked. They would just find that the water is literally, like, it's just liquid rock, essentially. It's like, yeah, rock can be porous and contain elements of water, and it looks like an ocean, but it's just like rock. Like, the fuck? The power of Trump compels you. Wait, so I'm being exercised, right? Because, but what power does Trump hold here? Trump holds no power here. Your Trump holds no power. Sorry, I'm clicking these windows around. I'm a stickler. I'm a bit of a stickler. I'm a stickler and I'm a pickler. I pickle things and I stickle things. And, you know, sometimes if you're a stickler pickler, then you stickle a pickle. All right? I don't know if you guys knew that. That's your goose fact of the day. A stickler is often a pickler. Is the word gay banned on YouTube? Now, people ask me what it's like to be gay all the time. All the time.
and attires himself in the cultural expression that the
it's like the same bullying that I got when I was in high school. It's surprisingly refreshing, actually. It gives me memories of it brings up memories of a better time when we were all more innocent.
Age understands.
Trump's God, isn't he, or a third world doctor wearing robes? Well, I mean, he thinks he's Jesus. Well, he thinks he's the second coming of Jesus. So, I don't know. Because I made an Alex Jones joke about being gay frogs all the way down and it never posted. Weird. Maybe Alex Jones is banned? But it did work when I put it in quotes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can say gay. I'm pretty sure that they allow you to do that on YouTube. Like I said, people come into my stream and ask me things like, when did you become gay? What's it like to have a gay boyfriend? What did you tell your wife when you came out to her as gay? Can you be trans and gay? Let's see. I've gotten a lot of them. I've gotten quite a lot of them. Gay frogs, Alex Jones. I love that that's just the sentence, and I wish that that had been the only thing, like this whole time, and there was no punchline or anything. It's just gay frogs, Alex Jones. That would have given me a chuckle. Let's do another poll. Shut up, Patrick. How dare you?
So he wants to be recognized as something. He wants to come to provoke a certain understanding. And the question, though, is why would he want to come as an alien? Well, simply to cast a doubt on revelation.
Nobody knows Goose is the only watcher. How fucking dare you guys team up on me? How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? I will turn this stream around and we will go straight home. All right? No ice cream for the lot of you.
To show that the Christian revelation, that scriptures and sacred tradition do not accurately represent the cosmology, do not accurately describe existent things. In doing this, he casts a doubt on...
Legitimate? Well, if you're being legitimate, then just look it up, dude. The Boys. Amazon Prime. Just look it up. And then, like, see if you can find a summary of the show, and then there you go. You don't need to ask me. I'm not the arbiter of information. And I had too many bad things to say about it, so I don't want to deter anyone from checking it out, you know? Because it's overall a good series, I just wasn't happy with the last season? / episode. They are the same in your new poll. That's what the clickbait, that's all the clickbait right there. That's the clickbaity juicy goodness of the clickbaity poll. I almost am tempted to make the chat subscriber only, so people get pissed off enough that they subscribe. They're like forced to subscribe, and then they have to like weigh in. No, how dare you! Well, because people occasionally, I don't know if you guys know this, but the majority of my audience, those 420 subscribers that I wish would grow, is Christian people who joined the channel to argue with me. How dare you! Or like give me some kind of like Jesus quote, like usually some kind of quote from the Bible in the chat. That's usually a thing that happens. But I think, you know, I welcome that. You know, consider everyone equal irritants and cohorts to mine own eclectic personality. Last good TV series I've seen was Raised by Wolves. That was good. I don't know if I saw the last few episodes, but it was good up until that. It was good. I like that. It's set in the world of Weyland-Yutani Corporation, I believe, in which it is like, you know, miles away from Alien, but pretty fucking related. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the same type of android species thing, but probably way in the future from the Alien franchise. I don't know. I think there was an article about it, but I don't remember what the article said. If one of you guys wants to look it up and then tell me sort of the bullet points, that's fine. But yeah. Severance was good. I have not seen Severance.
Jesus Christ and everything that Jesus Christ did.
Wow.
Jesus Christ!
Scripture can't be true because it doesn't account for this other form of life. Right?
Holy
it's a
shit!
very subtle thing, but it has profound implications. When you hear the accounts of people who have been abducted, it mirrors what people...
Again, I don't know who needs to hear this. You know, there are a lot of people out there who maybe haven't been beat up enough by life to have learned, you know, the amount of stuff that maybe they need to by now, but we shouldn't be taking any opinions on aliens from fucking pastors. You know? Just don't know. Isaac Asimov Foundation series? Severance is region locked? What? Damn, girl, sounds like you need to go sailing on the high seas.
People who have been demonically possessed say, like, they can't account for vast amounts of time, have an experience of paralysis. They describe a bodily intervention that their organs are manipulated, in particular, their sex organs. It's just an uncanny thing. Like, why would aliens come here?
Leave it to a pastor to immediately go to genitals. Just the first thing he talked about was people's sex organs. Is that what's running through his mind all day long? You know, pastor, not just children get abducted. Okay? It's not just children. That was a good burn. I'm gonna high five myself on that one. It's a good burn.
And want to manipulate your sex organs. That's not for me an explanation.
It's me too. Hope you get my... So the priest warns the encounter.
And they just want to manipulate your sex organs. But why, Swaggy? What's the point? You know? God could have just created them so that nothing would have changed. Religion wouldn't have changed. And if we're changing religion, why don't we just take all the stuff out of the Bible that supports like slavery and genocide and all that? I mean, that would be, I wouldn't mind joining I mean, I probably wouldn't join Christianity because I don't want to. You can't make me. You're not my boss. But also, it wouldn't be that bad of a religion. You know? We could probably just like, I don't know, make it like the Constitution. You have amendments. You know, you get it to the point of society where it's like, oh, well, we're self-aware enough where we can be like, yeah, some of that shit was bad in the past, and then accept it and move on and try to make reparations where we can. But other than that, just like, fuck, man. Edit the Bible. Take the bad stuff out. Take out the slavery. You know, if you want God to appear like a good guy, you don't want him endorsing stuff like that. You know, stoning innocent girls to death? Come on. Come on. I mean, it was also made up, Rowan, so. Leaning aliens more fake. I mean, I don't care if they're real or fake. I think whatever the truth is will be interesting. I think no matter what side the narrative goes to, we're going to be like, oh, cool, okay. Sweet. Sweet. Good to know. Good to know. You know, like, if it's aliens and it's like, oh, sweet, that could be like dangerous or kind of cool. If we get invited into like the into the Galactic Federation, you know, then we could be like space travelers. It's like, what if this is the beginning of like the Star Wars universe? You know, like when humans, we make or the beginning of the Halo universe, the beginning of like whatever. I mean, hopefully not a universe in which everything dies at some point, but, you know, the beginning of one of those things where it's like, oh, the aliens come down and then they're like, hey guys, we got a bunch of technology we want to share with you. You finally reached a certain point. And here you go. And then they're like, let's meet. Like, if you guys can figure out how to put all this together, we can meet in like whatever system, and you guys can join the Federation, and we can all, like, then you can start sending humans into space, and we can all just have fun together and hang out and shit. You know? I think that'd be pretty cool. Who's showing up to this planet, giving us a good look over and inviting us to fucking anything? But I mean, you know, the narrative of a timeline of an entire civilization can be full of bad and good. You know, there can be, and that might be what unites us, is a combination of all of our flaws and our advantages. You know, like, they may have done some fucked up shit in their past. They may have a religion where, like, strap me on, what? They may have a religion where, you know, people do genocides and, like, commit horrible crimes in the name of. Like, that could be a thing. Like, it could be the other civilization is just as fucked up and broken as we are, and they just wanted to reach out into the stars and happen to develop whatever drive they needed to make it to us. And then they're just like, hey, guys, did your dad put cigarettes out on your thighs, too? Is that a thing that's universal across the galaxy? Well, I guess universal would have just been the word to use. Holy shit. My brain hasn't caught up. For all we know, they showed up, looked us over, and were like, yep, they're still killing stuff for food. Let's come back in a couple centuries. Nah. No. I think it would be like in Project Hail Mary. I think that it's a culture that happens to be fully formed. It looks different than ours, but they have all their, like, sort of the same spirit characteristics that, you know, we would. That's the shit that you can't explain, you know? District 9, I like the spider dog.
Near classic demonic oppression. Meanwhile, a delivery driver says the ultra-wealthy have suddenly started stocking
you know,
rice and beans.
Aliens really is just demonic energy that's,
I have noticed a very strange behavior among the rich folk. I've been delivering since 2014, and I have never seen the rich folk prepping like they've been doing the last, like, 2 months. They have buying, a lot of them have been buying dry foods, buying generators. A lot of them have been trying, getting, like, dry foods, rice.
I don't know about you guys, but I pass by the section in the Costco that has, like, the prep meals. It has, like, the prepper meals, sorry. It has like 64 days, 90 days. And I'm like, I want to see if I could live on that. Like, I want to see if I could do that for the 90 days and just see if it's like torture. Do you guys ever think about that? It's because it's like $20 for like 90 days worth of food. It's definitely like the subsistence diet or some shit. But like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like it'd be fun to try.
Like beans, like all this stuff I've been delivering. And when I delivered, they're like, I'll put it in a garage. One of this other guy, he has his whole entire garage built out. And when I asked him, why is he doing it? He's just like, my gut feeling.
End of the world's coming.
Why are they buying?
End of the world's coming. You better start preparing.
They're buying a lot. They're prepping. And I deliver to like people who are earning,
crazy amounts of sodium. What?
Million plus. Some of these houses like $2-3 million.
It has to be
not to leave it or go anywhere.
Something that you
Just,
can live on. Like it has to be something that's like gonna keep you alive, right?
What do you guys think?
Or do they just expect you to drink like one of those 5-gallon things of water every day? And where are you pissing this whole time? Are we in a bunker? Are we in the basement? Are we avoiding nuclear war? Zombies? What's the scenario? I would have to make like a fake scenario for myself and just be like kick over my couch and like board up my windows and shit. The MRE type food is going to mess with your poo cycle. Well, yeah, right? But like, how do you... Why can't you live on that kind of shit? Like, that sucks. That's stupid. What's the reason for them to exist then? You know, at that point. I'm not in a survival situation. All right? Nor do I plan to be.
Corporations raise the obvious question.
But then again, you never plan for it.
Fresh top secret files just revealed a massive UFO encounter involving 13 fighter jets, according to Daily Mail. Top secret government files reveal astonishing UFO encounter, 13 fighter jets for the first time. So what this really means for America is that President Trump...
No substantiation to that. Just here's another account that somebody has. Here's another fucking second, third-hand account. Here's something that somebody interviewed somebody when they fucking said some bullshit that somebody else told them. Here's a file we saw at some, like, government office that nobody took any pictures of or have any video evidence to support.
Trump's delivering on transparency while the old guard tries to protect its power. Admitting the line...
What? Who's the old guard? They're in power! They're in the power. They have the power. They're in the power. They have the power. What? For example, the military doesn't just give MREs to soldiers. They have multiple types depending on how long they're going to be deployed. Part of that is health and sustainability and cost morale. What? I just want fully fulfilling meals packaged up so that I can, live on a packet a day. All right? Is that so much to ask? Why would the Army do this? Why would they cheap out on our soldiers? Come on. That's mean. That's mean. And we give the military how much a year? How much taxpayer money goes to the military? Uh-oh. What? Like, I mean, that definitely characterizes the argument that I made at the beginning of the stream, how we're just paying way too much for people to do things. Like, why the fuck does a tank cost like millions of dollars? But why do we need the most advanced weaponry? Like, I guess posturing, shows of force, I get it. National security, blah, blah, blah. The IDF or the American military? Well, I guess, both, really, right? Like, how many billions do we give to Israel? Apparently, the Italian deployment food is pretty sweet. Yeah, I've seen some of those MRE unboxing videos, and they're pretty funny. I like it when he gets mold on something, and he's like, "Well, I can't eat that, nor can I eat anything else in here." Do you think aliens are real? I don't know. Could be. If we keep, seeing shitty proof, then I don't think there's really any hope of determining that. But if we get some good, solid, concrete proof, then I'm all for it. I don't know. We shall see. If you get the Chili Mac MRE, you have to mix the jalapeno cheese spread with it. See, now, that's the thing. If I was going to eat these things, like, with any kind of pleasure, as opposed to, like, torture, I would have to know how to do, like, the hacks, like the military, like the hacks that people do to make things taste more palatable. Like, I know that there's, like, in people's, when they go to prison, they have, like, hacks with ramen. Like, they try to make it all sorts of different ways. And like I know the military has something similar too. Like they got their own, because the food sucks in general. I mean, it's not going to be the level of, I don't know. I'd say MREs are like what, like cafeteria food level, maybe? Would you say that they're like a step below cafeteria food, or would you say that they're about the level of cafeteria food? Because it's been a long time since I've eaten in a cafeteria. We used to take MREs camping sometimes, and while they were kind of crappy, they weren't that bad. Yeah, I don't anticipate them having to be that bad. Like, why would something have to be disgusting just to be, keep you sustained, It's amazing that all the cameras that capture UFOs are from the 90s. Yeah. Compression has accounted for a lot of the, definitely step below. Okay, yeah, because I kind of feel like even the shitty pizza that I was getting from, like, high school was, like, decent, Hey, Gooses, what's up? Oh, no, Skippy. You're Skippy? You're not a separate person. There's no way you're a separate person. I have an MRE in my cupboard from 2010. Allegedly, they last forever. Allegedly? Well, like I said, I've seen some of those unboxing videos where they'll pull out, like, a 1940s... a 1940s thing, MRE, and unbox that. And, like, sometimes they got mold all of them. Sometimes it's, like, rotten and they can't actually eat any of it. But it's cool. It's cool when he actually takes a bite. Even if you can't see mold on something, I'm still pretty afraid that it might have some nasty microbial enemies. If we're to speak in military terms. Is enemies military terms? I think that's just a general term. Everyone knows that one. It's a step below cafeteria food just because the starches like bread are dense and super preserved. Yeah, I think of hardtack when I think of MREs. Like, I think that you have to, like, soak it in something in order for it to be edible. You think I would make a second account just to say weird stuff to you without the paper trail back to Skippy?
Is of the past could unlock zero-point energy concepts and end decades
no,
of
of
secrecy
course
kept American
not.
people in the
Sorry.
dark.
I'm sorry that
Questions no longer whether something is out
about
there.
the mistaken
It is whether the
identity.
full truth will finally be told
Welcome
to
to the
the
stream,
people.
person
So the Trump administration
that
just moved
totally
UFO
isn't
exposure into mainstream
Skippy.
territory with 1 billion visitors and more files coming. That's a win for transparency that previous administrations refused to touch. Share this report and drop your thoughts in the...
Why aren't you promoting... I love all this AI shit. Why aren't you promoting the Trump phone? It feels like this, you should be... And get a suit that fits, my dude. I think you have shoulders. I think you have enough shoulders to not need the pads. I'm guessing that he's maybe like an introvert. He's probably a programmer or something. Someone who
could reshape national security.
Like doesn't. Does he have a fucking contouring? An ear contouring? Why are you doing this to yourself, good sir? Like, why would you ever do this to yourself? I can't sympathize with you.
Energy policy and public trust.
And it's on his... No, sorry, it's an earpiece. Oh my god, thank god. Oh my god. Oh, please. Oh man, I wish I had a person's shoulder to reach out and steady myself on right now. Oh my god, I cannot believe that I thought for 1 second that he had a fucking ear contouring, like one of those earrings that like, it's a goddamn earpiece. I'm losing it. I'm becoming more insane every day, just looking at this shit. Woo!
Deep state is slow walk information.
Anywho, no, I wanted to look at more of this guy's. He has most recent videos. I do believe aliens are out there, though. I think that it would be hard for me to make sense of there not being aliens out there to some extent, I feel like that's kind of like, I don't say like it's a given, but like it should be. That should just be a given, There's got to be some other life out there. I just feel like there is. I mean, maybe that's, that requires some amount of faith. I thought there was another one about aliens. I have this wild nose hair that is just like tickling my sneeze reflex. I thought there was another aliens one.
Next news. Breaking news from the White House.
Hold on, what? What? Universe is just too big. Every probability. Oh no. What did I do? Every probability happens all the time. Not every. Because there's like infinite probabilities, right? Now we make contact with aliens or see some faraway alien cities, who knows? Hey, it could be AI. Could be AI. Or a deep state psyop. Meant to obfuscate the truth. Don't be deceived. Don't do it! Don't be deceived! They're gonna try to deceive you. Apparently this is breaking news from the White House. According to the announcer.
President Trump just dropped another bombshell that has the internet in total meltdown. Speaking about new icebreakers under construction, he said he's going to be here in 2028 and maybe even 2032 as well. Supporters are laughing and posting memes while critics are already screaming about the Constitution and democracy itself, but this is no accident. The president knows exactly how to seize the spotlight and keep every conversation centered on the fight for America's future. But what does this really signal about the battles ahead in voter integrity and power? See, this moment cuts into the heart of who controls our elections, who counts in our republic. Democrats are framing basic voter ID laws and the Save America Act as nothing short of Jim Crow 2.0 and racial oppression. They're calling for athletes now to boycott Southern schools and accusing Republicans of stripping minority voices.
I'm sorry, what? I mean, we are going off on a bit of a political tangent here, but what the fuck did you just say?
See, this moment cuts into the heart of who controls our elections, who counts in our republic. Democrats are framing basic voter ID laws and the Save America Act as nothing short of Jim Crow 2.0 and racial oppression. They're calling for athletes now to boycott Southern schools and accusing Republicans of stripping minority voices. At the same time, voices on the left openly talk about breaking the spirit of their political opponents. These are not normal policy disagreements. They reveal a desperate scramble to keep weak election systems in place rather than...
Did we just equate voter integrity policies to Jim Crow? What the fuck? That's a take, for sure. I don't think that I've ever heard that before. But maybe there's a reason for the shoulder pads. I mean, it's not surprising that, you know, they all kind of try to wear these same colors. It's almost like an identifying characteristic, or what is it like? It's a thing that birds do. It's not peacocking. It's a thing that birds do, like to recognize each other as like, oh, you're one of me. It's a thing that birds do. Birds.
win fair fights at the ballot box.
How do I get to
Mistakes
my...
are nothing less than whether future elections...
Stop talking. How do I get to my homepage here? How do I get to it? How do I get to my... How do we just do this? Boop. Now, I know this is going to be a left turn. All right? I know it's going to feel like a left turn. I know it's going to seem like a left turn. And I apologize. But there's a reason. Okay? I recently found out that Quora still exists. And I'm kind of a big deal on Quora. I'm not really. But I'm kind of a big deal on Quora. Okay? Ask anybody. Don't ask anybody. Check up on it. Don't check up on it. You know? You can verify it. Don't verify it. But I'm a pretty big deal on Quora. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up, and then I'm going to go ahead and change my titles here. Actually, I don't know. What do I want to do? Tell me. I'm either going to... I'm torn. I'm torn between two ideas. Once we were done with all of this, because this honestly is the last little bit of disclosure shit that I want to talk about. Like, I think that I've done it to death at this point. I would love to move on to 2 other projects I've got in mind. And so you can help me decide which I pick from, okay? My 2 options here are, I wanted to do answers to Quora threads, because Quora is, and I was going to set it up like this, Quora is a fucking weird place. It is a weird place. Yeah, cynical. Yeah, you kind of, you have it. you've already identified one of the really weirdnesses, the really apparent weirdnesses of Quora. I think it's mostly present in like the Indian areas, and like because a lot of it is based on like Indian culture, and a lot of it is Indian people asking these questions. So I think it's like very popular in India. I don't know if that means that the app is itself based in India or anything like that, but I just know that tends to be a very large percentage of the questions and answers and articles and stuff that I see. If it's not, it looks like somebody who might be Indian or somebody who might be in India, or is asked in Indian language. What is the Indian language? Is it Indian? I don't know. I should know that. That sounds like high school level knowledge. But anyway, we're either going to be answering questions on Quora, or I'm going to start a new project that I was thinking of working on. Dude, you're one of the few Americans on the internet. The other three are expats in Asia. Yeah, that's because Hindi. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's because everyone's working right now. My work is usually in the early morning or early evening or early morning, because produce stocks open up around like 5 a.m., 4 a.m., something like that. I mean, you got to get there right when the sun rises, essentially. You don't go in when it's dark. But they open early, and so that's where I usually get all of my ingredients and prep shit. And then evenings are when the dinners are that I've been putting on. But yeah, either this or the other project I was thinking of doing was going into Supermarket Simulator and essentially having the theme of working retail for free until I monetize my channel or something like that. It's a clever title. Insert clever title here. Insert Goose approved clever title here. You know what I mean? And then I would just kind of putt around in Supermarket Simulator, just kind of chilling, putting products on the shelves and telling employees what to do and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on spinach? It's really healthy and it's good for you and it's good to eat sometimes. What the fuck are you talking about? I like spinach. I don't like when people overprocess it. We used to have a spinach salad that I would get. This was when I was working in Seattle at Palace Kitchen. We had these two ladies that used to come deliver produce, and they would deliver like locally foraged spinach just up the hill from where we were. Locally foraged spinach and arugula. And we would have a spinach salad on the menu that was with like buffalo mozzarella and like fresh mozzarella, spongy kind. And it's really good. It's like garlic oil, and I think like fennel seeds, or no, not fennel seeds, like pumpkin seeds or something like that. It was good. It's good stuff. I like spinach. I don't know if it's my allergies that are messing me up right now, or if it's just my sinuses, but I'm gonna go blow my nose and take an allergy pill. I will be right back. Decide what you want to see. Either supermarket with like a, I don't know, viewership increase theme, or because I'm still going to abide by the thing where if I hit 500 subs during any stream, I'm going to immediately stop what I'm doing and play Subnautica 2, and I happen to be a thalassophobe, so I think that would be especially hilarious for viewers to see. But not supermarket. Raw one, but you're over opinionated. You're over opinionated. I'm taking my toilet paper and I'm going home. Hang on, I'm gonna go take a. If I want a job at Little, I can get one. Yeah, but it's me working there, not you. All right, I'll be right back. Give me a sec. I'm taking my toilet paper. Alright, I gotta go grab an Allen. the supermarket game is fun because you get to like decorate your supermarket and like you can order product and stuff and you can look at like profit and loss statements and stuff. It's fun. Come on, how dare you? All right then. We're going to be answering questions on Quora for the rest of the stream because Raw One is not a fan of supermarket simulators. Okay. Don't ever bring it up with Raw One. No supermarket simulators ever. How dare you? Which is cool. That's fine. No hate. No hate. It would probably be a good idea to get water too. Damn it! I don't even like going to them. Well, what if you went for fun? You know, what if you went and then like you didn't have to do anything, you just went to go check it out? You know. Are you still playing Supermarket Together or different Supermarket Simulator? It's still the same one. The other one, there is one I think that's called Supermarket Simulator, but you can't rebind the keys, which unfortunately is not good for someone who plays left-handed. Normally I can just kind of like figure it out, but like if it's a point-and-click game, don't really need key bindings for that. That's fine. But unfortunately, I have to not be able to play ones where you can't rebind the keys if it's a first person. You know? Shitty. It's real shitty. But. So let's see. Yeah, see, look, I'm a big deal. I got 2045 views on one of my things, or on one month. Isn't that's like a lot? That's a big amount. So you can't say that I'm not a big deal on Quora, okay? I'm a really big deal, okay? Now the questions do revolve around food, so I mean I'm gonna go ahead and just put that out there right now. If you don't give a shit about food, then you probably will not like this next segment. Let's see. Answering questions on Quora. Keep that as the thumbnizzle. Thumbnizzle? It's not news and politics. That is... I don't know. What is that? How to and style. That's a good category. I like that. Change my info here. Boop. Chewbacca. Do you guys know about Chewbacca? He's a Wookiee. All right. Now, people can request on Quora that you answer questions. So I think that's where I'm going to start. And if I get bored pretty easily, so if I start to get bored, then we may just switch back to, or we may just switch to Supermarket Together. But you never know. Maybe this will be something. Do you grow any vegetables or plants? I do not currently. I usually have a planter going, but I have not been able to keep up with it this year. So, and I just missed the one of the windows of growing like the stuff that I like to grow during the spring. I like peas and shit like that, and April's like the best time, and it's a little past that at this point, unfortunately. And we're starting to harvest like a lot earlier this year than we were, so I think people were probably planting way earlier than just April. We had our first 80-degree day like way early. Is it true that Gordon Ramsay originally wanted to call his restaurant the Gordondonian Ranzonium? Don't know the answer to that. How much does... what? I got strawberries, habaneros, roses, all kinds of stuff, cucumbers. Oh, hell yeah, man. I would love to have just like a big, plentiful garden, you know? Takes effort, though. Takes effort and a little bit of money. seeds are usually fairly inexpensive, but all the equipment to do it is like, you know, costs a pretty penny. I've never answered anything there, but I've read many posts with a look of utter confusion on my face. Yeah, that's why I wanted to start with questions that have been asked specifically of me, because I would love to see if there's anything weird there. It's way too hot and humid here to do any gardening here. Yep. That sounds like it makes sense to me. I definitely would not want to be out like friggin' with my elbows in the dirt, like trying to shift earth or anything like that right now. That would be very annoying. I want to grow my own medicine. I would love to grow my own medicine, quote unquote. The kind that you need a fume hood for. How much does Gordon Ramsay charge? Don't care. How does one become an ethical foodie? Oh my god. I mean, that's a bit of a loaded question. The first one is, wow. How do I become an ethical foodie? Well, oh my god. Don't eat out anymore. Don't shop at supermarkets. Only eat out at like neighborhood mom and pop joints. Oh man, I didn't think I was gonna have a philosophical debate with myself. What is ethical? What is ethical? What is being a foodie? Being a foodie is really just someone who's interested in food. All you have to do in order to be a foodie is just be interested in food. And a lot of where food comes from is tied into the ethics of farming and the ethics of raising like livestock. Because if we have this civilization where we have animals that we know we're going to need to eat in order to sustain ourselves, or at least that's what they believe at the time, until like, you know, science evolves to the point where we don't need to, then you have to figure out a way to reconcile what you have to do with what you want to do. And not everyone feels like they can just turn vegan. So, you know, livestock for food is a thing. It has been a thing for well over 100,000 years at this point. And, or at least that's what we proved recently when we found the liveries. That was like an ancient civilization, something in the eastern archaeological digs. But like, it's not just animals, it's plants too. Like the earth that we grow things on has a lot of, you know, characteristics that come from like either pollution in the air, or like over use of pesticides, or over farming, or overgrazing by like animals that aren't being like ethically kept. And like, I forget, there was a series that had an episode. I just remember the topic of the episode, but basically they did like infinite regression all the way back to like, you know, it being, it was the whole basis of the last season of The Good Place. Basically, there's just no way that a person can avoid being immoral because of all the connections everything has, or at least what a god would see as immoral. Like if there was an all-knowing, all-good god that isn't the Christian god, if there was like some arbiter of good and bad, and there was like some set amount of you know, what makes a good person good and what makes a person bad, nobody would ever be truly good, because there's so many interconnected things that result in you being a douchebag because you contributed to child labor, because you contributed to non-fair trade practices, or because you contributed to something that exploited you know, loopholes in a law that was meant to save people from whatever. Like there's something that you do somewhere that infringes upon somebody's morals and what somebody considers important in their ethical framework. And so if you want to ask a question like, how do I become an ethical whatever, you have to ask yourself what you hold important, because you can't really go beyond that. So if I'm saying the answer to this question, oh my gosh, well, to be honest, a foodie isn't really that much different than just someone who likes food. That's all it means. with that in mind, being a foodie isn't so much of a characteristic to strive for, but more of just a thing you are. So you can call yourself foodie anytime you want. Most importantly, most important to your question, ethical with a little e, eating is simple. Do what the Italians used to do. Eat local, shop local, and keep your carbon footprint small, and you'll be fine. There's no easy answer to that. And what one person's idea, what was this? Choose answer. No. What one person's idea of ethical eating is going to be completely different from what another person's idea of ethical eating. And to some people, ethical eating means not eating animals. To some people, ethical eating means not eating anything that's been grown on stolen land. Anything that's like stolen to begin with. If you have to steal an apple, that's unethical. You know, some people believe that there's all kinds of things that all kinds of people believe, and I think what's most important if you're trying to wonder how to be ethical in your practices is just to try to be as unimposing on the environment as possible. You know, contribute to as little as you can when it comes to things that you deem to be unethical. It really has to come from inside. It's all about you. As long as you are doing things that you believe are good for your community, then you're probably going to be okay morally, ethically. And not like hurting things, you know. You get what I'm saying. What's better, French, Italian, or Greek food? Well, I would say that French and Italian are probably better in my... just for me, I like those better. But Greek food's good too. I just takes a back seat to those other ones. What's the difference between ground beef that comes in a plastic tube and ground beef from the butcher? That's an easy one. Pretty simple. The ground beef in a bead in a tube is often a large batch of cows processed all at the same time in huge facilities, and then packed and shipped to your local supermarket. The ground beef from the butcher, as well as most ground beef you see in plastic trays at the supermarket, are both usually ground in the back using a big machine in a cold room. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. God damn, these notifications. Ay, ay, ay. I'm being inundated. The butcher one will usually be veal. Well, no. People don't typically eat veal anymore. Or at least there's like more ethical veal that's like people don't like very much because it doesn't taste as good as real veal. But people don't really eat veal as much as they used to in America. It's usually frowned upon. Easy one. What? Alright. If raw steak falls on the floor, would you still cook and eat it? That's why it's ground. Well, you mean because like people can't tell the difference? But veal is more expensive than cuts of beef. So that would be really stupid to buy that just to hide it in ground beef. You would be costing yourself unnecessary money. Veal's like way more expensive. Wash it. Don't wash it. Wipe it off with a paper towel. Although your answer is exactly the same as mine. If a raw steak falls on the floor, would you still cook and eat it? Hell yeah, son! That steak cost you money. And it's your gut, not a customer's, that will suffer if you managed to get microbe baddies on it. I may be a professional chef, but you'd have to make a damn good argument for me not to eat my own steak that fell on the floor. I fudging love steak. In case any of you were wondering, I fudging love steak. Alright? I think that may have been clear from the answer I just gave, but I fudging love steak. Fudging! Most of the cows are daily, so you get veal most of the time for beef? What? In most of the world, veal is very cheap. What? Why would a younger cow be less expensive than an older cow? Right? Does that not make sense? Because, like, a bigger cow, if it's older, it's going to produce milk less often, and it's going to have less good quality meat, according to whatever fucking standards. So, why would a younger cow be less expensive than an older cow? Right? That doesn't make sense. Because they produce veals for the cows to make milk. What? What are you talking about, Raw One? It's not making any sense to me. We'll say pass on that one. Come on, pass on that one. Nope, why did I click on that? Why are most chefs not open to suggestions from their clients? Now, this isn't going to be a controversial take. All right? I may have put my hands, steepled them like it was going to be, but it's not going to be. It's going to be exactly what you think, and I'll tell you what that is when I come back, because I need to grab some water. Oh, my bones! Oh, God! Oh. Oh. Trip me. She's trying to trip me. She was slapping at my feet. Dairy cows need to make kids in order to make milk, and the kids go to slaughter is the cycle over here. What? I'll just have to take your word for it. I like my credential on here. Content creator. Why are most chefs not open to suggestions from their clients? I don't know that it's necessarily that most chefs don't want to hear. Where do you think milk comes from? Dairy cows. But the cows are the cows that they give birth to are often just sold for lots of money. I don't know if it's necessarily that most chefs don't want to hear suggestions. It's that working as a chef is very demanding on both your time and mental real estate, and one typically doesn't have time, doesn't have the opportunity to stop what they're doing and make something special for one of possibly a few hundred guests in a night. What? And somebody going to buy the veal and keep them on formula? What? Yeah. How do you think? Why do you think that the population of cows is so large here in the United States? It's because they're not sending their veal off to slaughter, I can tell you that much. Make something special for one of possibly a few hundred guests at night. Now, take into account that way more than one person is going to ask for something special if you allow it from your guests, and you have a much more chaotic scene. Most chefs don't even get to cook what they want. It's the owners and shareholders who determine what goes on the menu for bigger places. Either way, eating is about submission. Cooking is about control. Take that and smoke on it. All right? Whoever needs to hear that. You take that and smoke it. What happens is they are artificially inseminated and the veal are sold for slaughter. Most young cows slaughtered in the U.S. In the U.S., most beef cattle are slaughtered between 15 and 24 months of age, depending on how they were raised. Grain finishing cattle, majority of commercial beef, typically weaned at about 7 months, then fed on a feedlot for 10 months. And typically, that means more often than not. So we do not kill our veal. We raise them to be beef cows. There's more money tied into selling the meat because of the processing that goes on, the many steps in the chain that have to be accounted for in the process, than there is in simply slaughtering the cows. If you let them grow, you can make the cost of them exponentially higher. So it's not, there's not an overabundance of veal. That would mean that there's like way more veal than we could handle here. And just also due to the fact that the USDA has restrictions on that kind of shit. So your country may do that, but we definitely don't do that here. Veal only stays veal for a little bit. I don't think they have the land in the U to let them grow. No, I mean probably not. Certainly not. Unless you guys start borrowing portions of Russia. I don't see that handling, or I don't see that happening. Do many chefs come out to greet customers who want to pay compliments to the chef, or does that only happen in movies, given how busy and chaotic the kitchen can get? Only a few times. No, I'm not going to start that way. In general, chefs know that people like their food typically because they keep their jobs. I'm not going to look at the keyboard. I want to. Typically because they keep their jobs if people like the food. Compliments can take them... Compliments are great. But if you expect them to come out and say thanks, then the compliment was more for you than for them. I know that sounds harsh. That's all. That's all. I wasn't going to say anything else. All right, and I'll take one of the recommended questions to me. Why don't they put sauce on pizza in Europe? I don't know that I can answer that. Why don't they? Because I don't live in Europe. What temperature should you cook a pass on that one. What temperature should you cook a pot roast so that the meat falls apart? I mean, what temperature? Temperature is one of the many factors that go into tender meat in a pot roast. It's mostly time. But also, to a lesser extent, it can be quality / cut of meat. Same thing, but there's garlic white pizza also. Well, and I mean, I know that there's some that just don't have any kind of sauce on them, and that's fine. I don't think there's like any grand reason behind that. I just think that it's that particular cultural quirk, you know. It can be quality / cut of meat, amount of liquid, and its level relative to the meat, as well as how crowded the pot is, etc. Best thing to do is follow a simple, basic recipe and then iterate on the results. Write stuff down and take pictures so you can replicate it. Don't be afraid to mess up, because you will. A lot. And good luck. What's the best cheese? Oh man, in my opinion, any cheese that melts at room temperature is more or less the best cheese. That'd be like Epoisse, or a triple cream Munster. I know that that's not a thing in normal circles, but when you can find one, because we're doing all kinds of mad science experiments here in America. I don't know about you guys in the EU, but we're making hybrid cheeses and shit. Oh yes. Oh yes. Cheese is delicious in general. What What are some of the unexpected benefits of interacting with chefs in an open kitchen setting? Unexpected benefits? I mean, I get if they choose to interact with you, it's actually not very good for their performance or your experience. In general, don't interact with cooks in an open kitchen. It's more for you to see what's going on and for your entertainment than it is. Best they got in my area is cheese fermented in a tree bark? Tree bark cheese, huh? I'd give it a try. I'd see what it's all about. In general, don't interact with a cook in an open kitchen. It's more for you to see what's going on and for your entertainment than it is to make new friends. Concentrate on your dining companions or your loved ones and leave the staff alone. There are no unexpected benefits. Sorry. I'm not going to make you feel good about bugging people at work. Yeah, they sell it in the bark. I thought that said they sell it in the bank, and I was going to be very confused. Yeah, they sell it at the bank. Huh. All right. Yeah. I heard of that. You know, that would be very funny. Is it possible for a restaurant to run without a chef? Of course, just like anything else, it's important to have vision and direction and motivation and authority, but there's no reason a well-functioning team can't maintain without that in a consistent fashion. They all know their jobs. And the chef's is, or should be, least important in terms of practicality. Important at. Better than Babyliss? Babyliss? What's Babyliss? They sell it in the side of the road on mountains? That sounds delicious. All right. I like answering questions on Quora. I don't know that it's especially entertaining, but I'm having fun. What's the easiest way to find and hire a private chef? Dear God, do you not know how to Google? How did hummus eat before they had fire? How did humans? I thought that said how did hummus. How did humans eat before they had fire to cook their food? I don't fucking know. What's your favorite cut of meat for barbecuing or grilling? Brisket! Anything. No, it's just brisket. No, there's no, you don't need to substantiate that or qualify it. Brisket. Just brisket. Only brisket. Nothing else. Just brisket. Only do brisket. They ate it raw or sun-baked. Yeah. That's what I would assume. But that was a gosh darn long time ago. Alright? What happens to a restaurant if the chef leaves? They find a new chef. I guess that was a layup. We'll call that a layup. To those that like their steak rare, why do you even bother cooking it? What? Because there could be nasties that could be on it, but B, also because just because it's rare doesn't mean it's raw in the middle. It's still cooked. As soon as that hemoglobin solidifies, as soon as those fibers or the protein strands are changed in the fibers and forming chains and sugars and blah 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 whatnot, whatever scientific bullshit happens, it goes from raw to cooked. People's teeth used to be so messed up from the times of eating raw food and chewing on bones, I'm sure. Unsurprising. I'm sure my teeth would be beat to shit if I was chewing on rocks. You can see better teeth ever since fire was used more. Yeah, I'm sure. Unsurprising. What do chefs really think about cooking a steak well done, and are there any tips for making it taste good? Since becoming older, I've enjoyed my steaks more and more well done. Not because I think they're dangerous, but because of the texture. I don't know why really, but people's tastes change. Chefs are people, and so their tastes change as well. Some chefs like well done steak, but might not admit it. Nah, nobody likes well done steak. Some chefs like their steaks just off of medium, which is how I like my steaks cooked. Some steaks just like some chefs like their steaks just off of medium, some blue, some probably well done, though I can't imagine. Wow, my fingers worked faster than my brain just then. Though I can't imagine. We might just have stole fire from the Neanderthals in Europe. No, we stole it from the gods. Didn't you know that? There's a guy getting his liver pecked out day after day and day after, for it, you know? Come on now. And evidence shows that early human caves didn't have fire in them, just buried ancestors, the ones we found. That's kind of cool. I like learning about early humans. Some blue, some well done, though I can't imagine. In terms of good, the biggest factor is quality. Not necessarily price, but, you know, reputation of company / farm. Good luck! How many chefs do you need at a restaurant? What do they mean the difference between chef and cook? Like, are they differentiating between chef and cook? I do not know. Anywho, this is actually a pretty good place to start. It is the end of the stream. It is the end of the stream week, and I'm sorry about the technical difficulties yesterday, but hopefully this new stream setup has taken care of that. Again, I'm going to keep the offer running. If we hit 500 subs at any point during a stream, then I will immediately drop what I'm doing and start playing Subnautica. And I am a thalassophobe, so it'd be funny for me to watching it back, because I'm sure it'll scare the shit out of me. But other than that, we'll be back on Monday. And on Monday, I'm sorry, a raw one, but Monday we will be playing the supermarket game. I hope you're ready. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And Cynical, I'll probably see you Saturday. There was some reason I thought I wouldn't be able to make it, but I think I worked that out. But yeah. I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good, wonderful day. Good, wonderful, and fulfilling, and wholesome, and all kinds of that. Like, all kinds of shit like that. You know, enjoy. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all that shit. I said enjoy it!